Good morning, pop culture. We are live. It is Wednesday, December 5th, 2018. It's 7:51 a.m. and it's time to start Good Morning Pop Culture. So last night we had the High Council, a very fun episode. It was just Ethan and I for the most part, with a special appearance by Cecil at the end, but no less than spectacular. It was a great time. Ethan and I got to talk about some deep cuts in terms of Star Wars, in terms of Marvel, in terms of Captain Marvel, the trailer, where we think it's going to go. So if you have any questions or comments about last night's show, let me know today. We're going to be covering something interesting. Disney, too big to fail. So I'm quite interested to see what they have to say. I'm quite interested to tell you what the article says. Plus, we got a whole lot more to talk about. Today's an anniversary, a very special day. So, while we wait, yesterday a super chat rolled in at literally the end of the show. So, from Degas Rune, thank you very much. I hope you're listening this morning. He says, I'm way late. I'm listening to the replay, but for those wanting a Star Wars Marvel crossover, they've done it. The Last Jedi. Jake Skywalker was a Skrull in disguise. Oh god, the Skrulls. I feel like that's going to be the next Snoke theory. Who's a Skrull, who's not a Skrull. But, unlike the Snoke theory, the Skrulls will be fun. And you go, how are the Skrulls fun, but not Snoke theories? Well, Snoke theories are bullshit. Skrulls, you have to go back, watch the movies, try to pick apart, were there little things, were there little hints? Everyone's like, Palpatine is Snoke. So-and-so is Snoke. Clearly, none of them were Snoke. Snoke was a nobody. So, Degas Rune, thank you very much. I just wanted to make sure that I got to read that because, like you said, you were way late to the party, and I always feel bad when somebody sends in a super chat right as the show ends. So, we are kicking ass. We are almost to 130 viewers. So let's get 130 thumbs up before we even start this show. Let's break some records this morning, folks. But I am well fed, well read, and I'm ready to entertain. I'm pumped up beyond belief because I care about Marvel. I care about the state of entertainment, and I want it to be better than it is. It can be great. We've had eras fairly recently where entertainment was awesome. Go back to, 2012, one of the best years in movies in terms of my life for theater-going experiences. You had a Bond movie. You had Avengers. You had all kinds of other films. Cabin in the Woods. There were just a lot of fun movies. Now, there's just not a lot of good stuff out there. Maybe that's because, I'm busy, or the fact that movies have followed a formula that just is not very consumer-friendly. Gotta love that coffee. So, like I said, today, folks, is a very special day. It's an anniversary day, and we're going to save that for the end of the show. We're going to close out talking about one of my favorite movies of all time. It's weird. When I watch it, I want to call it my favorite movie. But Back to the Future, Star Wars, and even Die Hard rank above it. But part of it's the movie, part of it's the actor, part of it is the music. A big part of it's the music. So I started my day listening to the music from this movie. And most of you already know what it is, so it's not really a surprise. But for those who don't, I'll tell you at the end. It'll give you a reason to keep you hooked through the entire show. But also, I'd like to give you a Spider-Man update. I was going to live stream Spider-Man for, an hour right before the High Council to whet your appetites for more of us. But I ended up playing by myself, and my God, it was one of the coolest video game moments I've ever experienced. When Spider-Man goes to, I guess, the Raft or Rikers Island, whatever it is, and you fight inmates, and then you fight the Sinister Six, and they kick your ass. Normally in a video game, you want to win, you want to come out on top, but I got my shit pushed in by Doc Ock, Scorpion, Rhino, Electro, and I had a fantastic time. And it was one of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. Then the city's in peril, I have to fight and do all this shit. Folks, seriously, do yourselves a favor. If you don't own a copy of Spider-Man, I'm giving it my seal of approval. Yeah, certain Mary Jane elements suck, but other moments are so great they almost negate how dumb the Mary Jane elements are. So if you are one of those people who want to avoid proto-feminist Mary Jane, you're gonna basically cut yourself out of one of the best Spider-Man experiences ever. Games, movies, TV, comics. This is a great Spider-Man story for the ages, and I'm really happy I finally got a copy. I won't say 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 gets reserved for games that are life-changing. But in terms of superhero games, this is life-changing. I like this more than I like some of the Arkham games. And those Arkham games are damn near flawless. Chano Cyber9 Avila, thank you very much for your super chat and welcome back. Captain Lantern, she's a hero. Resetting the MCU back to zero. You know, I saw, maybe it was you that posted that on Twitter. The Captain Marvel is essentially the Green Lantern film. And yeah, there are so many parallels. Now, the only parallel I care about is the level of success that comes from Captain Marvel. Will it have the same effect as Green Lantern? Now, I know people get upset when this is said, but this movie will be graded on intention, not merit. So no matter how bad or how good it is, it's about the narrative that the media is spinning. And believe me, they're already spinning it. Now, I'm going to spare you discussing certain articles this early in the morning because I'm working on a video about it. I'm getting back to the stuff you all love. So be patient, but be prepared. It should be ready tomorrow. I'm going to get off of this show on time today. We went extra 40 minutes yesterday, which was awesome. A couple people hated it, but, you know, sorry. I gave you more for, you know, nothing. And as soon as I get off here, I'm going to start working on that. But it's a doozy. I've been working on it. I was inspired at dinner last night. Have you ever been working, you know, eating dinner, doing something, all of a sudden, idea hits, and boom, I had to go. So that is about Captain Marvel. We're going to be talking about Captain Marvel right now. So Chano Cyber9 Avila, thank you very much again. He says, yeah, that was me. By the way, I'm loving your D-Generation X icon. 20 years ago this month was D-Generation X was 97, so 21 years ago this month was the D-Generation X pay-per-view where The Rock fought Stone Cold for the IC title. Stone Cold won, as he did in most of his encounters with The Rock. But the final encounter, the one that matters the most, The Rock laid the smackdown and beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. Billy Ritchie, thank you very much. Started reading the new Spider-Man series. It does not suck along with the new Batgirl comics. That's because they actually got writers who don't suck much. Billy, I'm willing to take your advice and check them out. Admittedly, I will read them online to see how I feel. And if I put it like this, if I read a couple online and I like where they're going, I'll go back to my local comic book shop and I will pick up as many books as possible and I'll start filling in the holes in my collection. So Billy Ritchie, if I'm impressed, you will be the sole driving factor of why I completed or continued my Spider-Man run. And for those out there, no, I will never do a video on all the Spider-Man comics I have because I have so many. And they're cataloged, and they're organized, and they're put away in a closet. But just know that I have more Spider-Man comics than most people have anything. Yeah, I think Spider-Man's better than Arkham City. Personal bias because I enjoy the fuck out of Spider-Man. He is my favorite comic book character. The Arkham City game has a great narrative. It looks great for its time because Spider-Man... Let's compare Spider-Man PS4 to Arkham Knight. Spider-Man wins. It looks realistic. That suit is perfect, the classic suit. And I have nothing but good things to say about the gameplay. The Arkham stuff is fun. I like it. But I almost feel like Batman's restricted. Because when you watch the cartoons, you know, Batman does more than just hang out in Gotham. Sometimes he goes to the outskirts of the city, another country, different settings. Arkham was building rooftops and building interiors. I'm not knocking the game. When it was brand new, I may have told you it was my game of the year. What was that, 2011, 2010? Arkham City was great. Arkham Asylum was great. Arkham Knight was great. I love them all. But Spider-Man's my favorite character. I'm getting a lot of stuff out of it. And there's even references to the Raimi trilogy, which, you know, get me to love it. So that is my my answer. So today we're here to talk about the Disney Glut in the upcoming Star Wars Episode 9 trailer. So let me give you something to look at real quick. Now, we briefly talked about this on the High Council, but again, it was the High Council and it was discussed briefly. I want to talk about it a little more and get your thoughts on all of this. So, where are we? There we are, and let's take a look at the screen. So, Disney rumored to release trailers for Star Wars 9 and Frozen 2 this month. The first trailers for Star Wars Episode 9 and Frozen 2 are both rumored to arrive later this month. Disney is in the midst of releasing a flurry of trailers for their 2019 slate. Captain Marvel's second trailer just arrived, and it now appears that the Avengers 4 trailer may arrive before the end of the week. So this information comes from Collider's editor-in-chief, Steven Weintraub, He revealed on Twitter that the first footage from both Frozen 2 and Star Wars Episode 9 will arrive sometime this month. The actual dates of the trailer reveals aren't yet known, but Weintraub would be shocked if they hadn't arrived by December 25th at the latest. And he put out a tweet that essentially said the same thing. Disney has one more release this year, Mary Poppins Returns, on December 19th. The family-friendly nature could make it an ideal film for Disney to attach a Frozen 2 trailer to. After all, the brilliant post-credit scene from Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet teases audience with the allure of the first footage from the animated sequel, so it will make sense if Disney would deliver the teaser sooner than later. Now, I don't give a shit about Frozen. I haven't seen the first one. If you say, Jeff, do you like the movie Frozen? I'll say the one with Adam Green? Yes, I enjoy Adam Green's Frozen. Disney's Frozen? No, thank you. But the report talks about Star Wars Episode 9 and is expected to continue filming into February. This means that the trailer for the final film in the Skywalker saga would arrive before production had wrapped, and complete year before the movie even hits theaters. Under Disney, their standard practice has been to release the first trailer for an upcoming Star Wars movie in April of its release year, sometimes coinciding with Star Wars Celebration. Star Wars The Force Awakens is the biggest exception to that. First trailer arrived over a year before the movie would hit theaters, but that movie had to restart the entire franchise. Funny how the narrative changes about Star Wars. It's a reboot, it's a remake, it's this, it's that. It's not, it's a continuation. We respect Star Wars that came before it. And then it all fell apart. So, if you thought this information wasn't enough, there's more. Spider-Man Far From Home trailer reportedly coming this week. The first trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home is reported to premiere later this week after the banner 2018 that saw the franchise soar past $17 billion. At the global box office, 2019 is shaping up to be an even bigger year for the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All three of their films on deck, Captain Marvel, Avengers 4, and Far From Home, are highly anticipated for their own set of reasons, and fans are growing impatient, and any looks they can be given, or any looks they can have hands-on. While there's still no official word on the Avengers 4 trailer, viewers were recently treated to a new look at Captain Marvel. Oh, great. So, Daniel RPK, I don't know who the hell that is, says trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home is coming this week. Now, I bring this up not to talk solely about Marvel all week, Marvel, but it's too much at once. It's the great Disney glut, as I'm coining the phrase, because you can only be so excited for so many things. For example, personal example, PlayStation sale for Black Friday, 80-90% off of these games. So I go crazy. Oh my god, I can't believe I can get Need for Speed for $3. I can't believe I can get Rainbow Six for $17, down from $60. You get these great deals, but then you don't play them. So I bought these games super cheap, but then I got one game, Spider-Man. Hell, even Red Dead Redemption I've bought recently. But when it comes to Spider-Man, it kind of supersedes all that stuff. I believe that you only have so much time with, you only have so much time in general, 24 hours a day, you have work, you have other responsibilities. When you have too many opportunities in front of you, too many options, you may not choose anything at all. You may get bombarded with all this stuff, and people would say, well, it's just a movie trailer. It is. But movie trailers dictate how excited you are, what you think about. If you're focused solely on Captain Marvel, and then Avengers come out, Captain Marvel is cold. Cold product, nobody cares about it anymore. Or Spider-Man comes out. Because Spider-Man has a built-in fan base of over 50 years. We're talking about 56 years at this point. He's a household name. Everybody knows Spider-Man. My grandma knows Spider-Man, and my second cousin, or not my second cousin, my cousin's child knows Spider-Man, and that kid's 10 years old. So, I mean, Spider-Man is a cross-generational thing that would garner more interest than Captain Marvel. So, all of these Disney properties to come out at once, not at the box office, but right now, during the holiday season. First off, it's Christmas time. Everybody's got stuff to do. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, your end-of-year stuff is dictated now because the year's over. You may be getting ready for the end of the fiscal year could end whenever, who knows? But you got your end of the year Christmas party, your New Year's party, this, that, and the other. People travel. People are not available the last 2 weeks of December, and that's fine. Also, these people aren't going to be available to watch your trailers. Numbers are going to be down. It could color the fan perception and create a narrative that there is very little interest. Now, I won't say that's the case. Frozen made $1 bajillion at the box office, $1 quadrillion in merchandise and marketing stuff. So people do like Frozen. The record sold a bunch of copies. Not for me, but it's for kids, and kids like that dumb shit. Now, I have a hard time to believe that people don't want to watch this movie. Same with Wreck-It Ralph 2. Well, I have no interest in it. It's the #1 movie in America. It could be the #1 movie in the world. I don't know if it's fully released yet. And it's making bank, but it's not on my radar. The hype won't be at an all-time high if kids are focused on Frozen or Spider-Man, because that cross-generational thing still works. And girls like Spider-Man, boys like Spider-Man. Some boys like Frozen. Good for them. But too many choices. It's like Netflix, folks. When you sit down to watch Netflix and you're like, I don't know what I'm going to watch. Am I going to watch a Twilight Zone episode? But then you scroll over, you're like, oh shit, Frasier's on. Oh shit, Power Rangers, this, that, and the other. You have so many options, and you just go, I don't know. And then I'll turn off Netflix and I'll watch one episode of King of the Hill on Hulu. There are just, there's like a psychological disconnect about all these things. And I don't think that's good for Disney, because too many choices, people may pick one, it could hurt in one department, and you think, well, it's one big company. It doesn't really matter. But I think it does matter. I think it matters if, it doesn't really matter for their bottom line. I think it matters for the fan perception and what people will support. Well, Marvel's failing? Maybe I'm going to move to another team. It's not always about fans will come out of the woodwork to support something they care about. Sometimes, like video game consoles, people support the winning team so they can be on the winning team. I personally feel that's what happened with DC Comics in terms of their film department. The movie sucked for the most part, but people just kept doubling down on the hate, sometimes unjustified, like in the case of the Justice League, or sometimes completely justified, but ignored, like Suicide Squad. So we're going to see if DC can rebound. And in a moment, I'm going to talk about being too big to fail when it comes to Marvel Comics. Not Marvel Comics, excuse me, Disney. Because they thought Marvel and Daredevil was too big to fail on Netflix. And well, there's an interesting article that says the opposite. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into that because that is part of my Captain Marvel series. But it is relevant for today, so we'll talk about that in a moment. So Shatnerific, thank you very much for a super chat. EVS gave me the boot last night, but was fun to pop in and say hi. I love your videos and can't wait for the Culture War series. Well, Shatnerific, thank you very much. I would have loved to have talked to more people. It just, it kind of came out of nowhere, and I had to get to bed as soon as the show ended because, I have this show in the morning, and I love doing Good Morning Pop Culture. I think everyone would be upset if I just randomly didn't show up. So, Shatnerific, thank you very much for your compliment. I'm sure we'll talk in the future. We'll try to get together, everybody, at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. Let's make that all happen, folks. Come on up, hang out with us. Where are we at? Chano Cyber 9 Avila, thank you very much. Let it flop, let it flop. No one cares anymore. Let it suck, let it drop. The fans say it's a bore. I don't effing care what they're trying to sell. I like that. It's hard to say I don't care, because clearly I do in terms of Marvel. I'll put it like this. I want it to be good, but if it fails, it's a deserved failure, if that makes sense, especially with Star Wars. Star Wars is like your ex-wife that you have a kid with. You're always somehow connected, no matter how shitty the relationship has been recently. There was a time where it was good. Now, we're not literally married to Star Wars. You can't marry an IP, believe me. People would have if they could have. But my point I'm trying to make is we're all so attached to it. And that's the one that hurts me the most. That's the one that hurts a lot of people the most. It's that damn Star Wars. There's like seasonal depression. There's Star Wars depression. You had such a good run, and now it's for naught. Let's see. Stan Lee is dead. Marvel is over. Dude, Marvel's been over for well before Stan Lee passed away. Scythe and Jetter, thank you very, very much. Tyranny is the choice Tyranny of choice is a real psychological thing. There's an interesting TED Talk about it. Look it up. Well, you know what? I'm going to. Let me take a screenshot of your super chat. And I will. Sometimes I like to to study psychology. I had a couple classes in college. I'm over it. But it was something that is a part of my life. So let's talk about this Disney glut continuously. For a few moments at least. So we have the Star Wars trailer. We have the possibility of a Frozen trailer. The possibility of a Spider-Man trailer. Now, I want to be pumped. I am interested to see where the Spider-Man trailer goes. You never know realistically how good it could be or how bad it could be. I'm willing to give it a fair shake. Believe me, I'm willing to give it a fair shake. But after the disappointment that was Spider-Man Homecoming, for me personally, I have a very low bar. I don't know if that's good or bad. But back to the Marvel front, especially with TV. Marvel's Daredevil writer said they thought it was too big to fail. In the wake of Netflix's shocking cancellation of Daredevil, the cast and crew continue to express shock over what they feel is a premature ending for the legacy of the show. The news felt out of the blue, even in context of the Iron Fist and Cage cancellation announcement within a week of each other, mostly due to Daredevil's perceived positive position as the most successful Marvel series on Netflix, acclaimed by both critics and fans alike. The cast and crew hadn't been shy about expressing their feelings towards the cancellation news, with writer Tamara Becker Wilkinson commenting that she thought the series was too big to fail, considering how she'd already been hired for Season 4, and the story had already been pitched to Netflix. Her perspective makes sense. In an interview with IO9, she described being speechless when the showrunner Eric Olson relayed the news that the show's premature end. He waited for everybody to gather back into the writer's room, and he said, "Netflix has decided not to move forward with Season 4. And that's all I remember, I kind of missed the details because I was, so surprised." She went on to say that the cancellation of Daredevil probably spelled the end of the Marvel Universe on Netflix. Unfortunately, that kind of pessimism is possibly warranted. Now, you're saying, Jeff, we know this news. We're all saddened by it. Believe me, I loved Daredevil. Character's great, show is great. But the point I want to bring up is too big to fail. People always use this phrase, too big to fail, in terms of financial institutions. And now people say, well, Disney's too big to fail. They got hundreds of billions of dollars in assets, well, maybe even more. But they got so much money, so much power, they cannot possibly fail. They bought Fox, they bought this, they bought that. But there is a thing called too big to fail. And this morning I wanted to just talk about being too big to fail. Again, this will be covered in greater length during the Captain Marvel video that I'm working on. But just a few industries, or companies, that were thought too big to fail just a few short years ago. So first off, number one was the auto industry. For decades, General Motors, Chrysler, and Ford were known as the Big Three. They were the top three leading competitors among American car companies. In 2009, General Motors and Chrysler both filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and only survived due to the government bailout. Ford managed to stay afloat on their own. These are two companies that everyone thought would outlive them, yet they were filing for bankruptcy. It happens. In fact, the auto industry in general seemed too big to fail initially. And then Warren Buffett has a comment, which I'm going to spare you. But here's another company that they thought was too big to fail, Enron. So everybody remembers Enron and the Enron scandal. But again, something like that took it down. Now here's something we've all interacted with in our life, Kodak. Kodak had been around since the late 1800s. But over the years, they were removed from the Dow Jones, and in 2010, the company was removed from the Standard & Poor's 500 index, aka the S&P 500. And in 2012, they received a warning from the New York Stock Exchange that their stock price fell below $1 if it fell for 30 days, and that must increase the company's stay on the NYSE. Anyway, my point is, they filed for bankruptcy in 2012. They're attempting to make a comeback. But everybody knows a Kodak moment, Kodak cameras, Kodak film. And, well, Kodak basically failed. It no longer is the gold standard for film, the gold standard for, cameras. With cell phones and stuff like that, I understand advancing technologies, but still, everybody thought at one point in time it was too big to fail. Then there's Lehman Brothers, another company that went bankrupt during the Great Recession. They were valued at almost $700 billion. That's a B. Billion dollars. $700 billion. They fell hard and they surprised everybody. So while everyone wants to say Disney is too big to fail, there is always the counter argument. There's always these companies, there's always other companies out there that have failed miserably. It's not about taking pride in, oh, I told you so with Disney or this and that, but it's being realistic to the fact that, like Kevin Garnett says, anything is possible. So let's take that into account every time Disney makes another move to take over the world. You see, there are other competitors out there. There's always a Warner Brothers. There's always a Universal. There's always a changing tide. There's always going to be the next big thing in entertainment. And Disney seems to be buying up the past because they think they can control the future. But that's not necessarily the case. With Disney owning all of our favorite properties and turning them into something that we don't love or even like at this point, all they do is shut themselves off from future revenue that could be possibly gained. As a man who has loved Star Wars since I was, 6 years old, so I'm 30 now. So for 24 years of my life, Star Wars has been a big part of it. There are other people out there, like Rugis, who's been there since the beginning. Joel, who's been there since the beginning. People in my life that I know that cared about this franchise, that have watched it die. Now, in the case of a guy like me, or American Trent, or something like that, people who are very dissatisfied with Star Wars, not only do they cut themselves off from positive word of mouth, not only do they cut themselves off from potential ticket sales, but really where it hits them is the marketing and the merchandising, because that is where they make a ton of their money. And we know that Star Wars is next on this list of things that were thought too big to fail. And it was all because of Kathleen Kennedy being an inept president. It's not that people don't buy toys. It's not that people don't buy games. It's not that people don't buy merchandise. People don't buy bad merchandise, and they don't buy Star Wars merchandise because it represents something bad on screen. Midnight TV, thank you very much. It has to fail. It has to. They aren't giving up, so we can't either. That's another possible outcome. People are fed up with the negative attention they receive. Well, you know what? It's not even like negative attention. It's almost unwarranted hate that is received by the media or Rian Johnson or these other people. And so, again, when you attack and belittle your fan base, you can fail. You can get hurt. So that is a possibility right there, Midnight TV. The Pui, thank you very much. Good morning, Jeff. I think I've had enough Spider-Man for one lifetime. By the way, more P.O. Box stuff on the way. Ooh, well, I'm going to be looking for that. I'm going to go to the P.O. Box on Friday, folks, and if there's enough stuff, I'll do another video. Or you guys can vote on it, and I may just open it up on Christmas, and we can check it out together, kind of like a Christmas stream. It could be fun. Who knows? Or I could do a game stream of Smash Brothers on Christmas. Who knows? Or I could do both. You know, not everyone's going to be available all day on Christmas, nor am I, so let's have fun while we can. Chano Cyber9 Avila, thank you very much again. For every SJW product, I just want to say, shut up, Meg! She is the butt of the joke. And yeah, SJW products, they have a stink on them. They have a past expiration date on them. I don't know of many people out there that buy this shit up. Even my cousin, who has a daughter, who you'd think the SJW people would want to hook while they're young. Even that kid is too smart for this stuff. She's like, I think, 12 or 13. She likes Star Wars. She's towards the new ones. But she just likes the idea of Jedis and stuff as a whole. But she's not been indoctrinated by this crap. And my cousin isn't, conservative or liberal. I really don't know what my cousin's political views are. My family isn't really one way or the other. People have different views, just like everyone in the real world. But, they think this girl movement stuff like that would appeal to her, but, she just wants to do the traditional, typical stuff that would trigger these people. And good for her that she has the choice to do whatever she wants. Chewbacca fan 082 for the Virgin. Captain Marvel will be great, Jeff. It will herald in the new era of the MCU and will outgross the current MCU era, you'll see. If this movie outgrosses the current MCU era of $17 billion, I will jump off a bridge into lava. But only if Captain Marvel makes $17 billion. I don't foresee that happening, so I feel pretty safe on my bet. It's it's a risk I'm willing to take. So people in the chat are saying they think the Disney Star Wars theme park will be the downfall. See, I would like that to be so I could be the evil, haha, terrible, cynical guy that everyone says I am and laugh. Like, see, it did fail. It did fail. What I honestly think will happen is that the Disney parks will see a spike in attendance in the beginning, and then it'll level out just like it would normally do. I honestly don't think that beyond the first, I don't know, year or so, that Star Wars is going to bring in so many people around the world. If you would have presented this to me 10 years ago, I would have made the trip to Disney. But because I know how they feel about us as fans, as consumers, no thank you, ma'am. No. Kathleen, I don't think you deserve my money. That's why I've missed out on really great Star Wars collectibles on principle. And maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot, but I don't want to give my money to them. So what am I talking about? Well, there was a really great 2-pack. Han Solo and Hoth gear, Princess Leia and Hoth gear, and a box set on Rebel Base or whatever, Echo Base. Well, I didn't buy it, and now it's sold out, and I'll never be able to find it. So I only did hurt myself in that case, but again, I just can't bring myself to give them money, to give them energy or power. It goes against what we talk about here on the channel, and I just wouldn't feel good about it. I know Disney does get money from every Marvel Legend I buy, but then again, Marvel is okay in my book. Yeah, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers will keep it in business. Yeah, he is such a diehard Disney fan, but nobody's perfect. We can't hold it against him. If it makes him happy, though, good. I have my beliefs about entertainment. I live them. I don't really trash, oh, Jeremy, he likes The Force Awakens and this and that. He's still my friend. We still work together on the channel. We still build a community together, and we'll continue to build said community. Little things like that will never tear the High Council apart. You can't really tear the High Council apart. We're a good group of dudes that genuinely enjoy working together every Tuesday night. It's the highlight of my personal week. There are weeks where I've had more fun on the High Council than I've had my own podcast. And yeah, I just said that. I mean, I'm not getting rid of my best friends in real life, but it's nice to be able to sit back and just talk to the fans on the High Council. When it comes to the podcast, I'm on it, I host it, I edit it, I upload it, I do all kinds of stuff. So, it's a nice change of pace. So this whole too big to fail thing, I think we're coming to the end of that topic. I just wanted to bring to your attention this great Disney glut. I can't see them actually pumping out all this shit and being successful in terms of these trailer views. Yeah, it's only 3 minutes, man. But sometimes you only have a 3-minute window. Sometimes you only have a couple of moments to check something out. So, is that enough? We'll find out. We'll see how these trailers do. We'll see how the numbers are. Right now, the Captain Marvel trailer, I guess, is doing fine. But, last night, when we were, in between a couple comments or sections of the High Council, I actually looked up a few comments online about the Captain Marvel trailer. And I don't know if I took screenshots. Let me look. I did not. But I wasn't seeing a super positive consensus. Now, these weren't a bunch of, people talk about sexism and this and that and SJW politics. These were older white dudes that the SJW seemed to hate, saying, the trailer looked a little too by the numbers, I'm not that interested, this, that, and the other. They were very, very honest criticisms of the trailer and of the upcoming film and how they dislike the character of Carol Danvers. Well, they called her Danvers properly. And I just found it interesting. Usually, you'll see a disconnect between, hardcore fans and the general audiences. And it seems to be fairly even for the most part, but in this case, I've seen more negativity levied at not gender, not this, not that, just the movie doesn't look good. And the movie can't fail on its own. The movie can't fail on its own because the other side will not allow it. It will be a weaponized Captain Marvel. That's all I can say. If Olaf from Frozen lightsaber duels, maybe I'll go see that movie. I'll give that movie a shot. So, folks, we already have 441 viewers. Can we get 441 thumbs up, please? Thank you very much. Help the channel grow. Good Morning Pop Culture has reached a new level of success, and I like that. It's fun. You know, one day I want us to have 5,000 people watching each morning, then 10, then all whatever subscriber count is. From all over the world, people line up to listen to the greatest morning show. So for those wondering, no, the the trailer's not out for Episode 9. It's rumored to come out by Christmas. But so is the Frozen 2 trailer and the Spider-Man trailer. And Christmas is 20 days away, less than 3 weeks. That just seems like... Here's the thing, too. People talk at Christmas. So, oh, did you see the new trailer for this? Yeah. But then it gets to this trailer and that trailer and so many different things. Just leave the Avengers alone. Let them ride the year out. Let Frozen come out with Mary Poppins. And then let Star Wars come out at Star Wars Celebration. I think it would be a lot better for them to just kind of keep quiet about Star Wars for a little bit. But that could just be me. Yeah, Pepperidge Farm remembers. So, wow, we are moving quick through this show. So yesterday, I wanted to bring up this topic because we're a podcast. I like to listen to podcasts. And Will Ferrell is reprising his role as Anchorman's Ron Burgundy for a new podcast series. So I don't know if you guys heard this news, but in the first quarter of 2019, there will be a Ron Burgundy podcast. Now, Will Ferrell is hit and miss for some people. I like him as Ron Burgundy, obviously. I like Brendan Huff. I really, really like certain things he's in, and there are certain things he's in that I hate. You know, I love him in The Goods. I like him in Talladega Nights. Hell, I even like him in Stranger Than Fiction. But overall, Will Ferrell's all right in my book. But Ron Burgundy, I own the doll. I own the book, I own the Blu-rays, all that stuff. Ron Burgundy's the man. So when you guys are not listening to world-class bullshitters, do yourselves a favor and check out Ron Burgundy's podcast. I think you'll enjoy it. Now, Ron Burgundy, well, Will Ferrell, came to Michigan State when I was there. And he put on the Ron Burgundy suit and he interviewed the basketball coach, Tom Izzo, yeah, that's his name, for our entertainment, and that was cool. So I got to say, I can still say to this day, that I've seen Ron Burgundy live. It was one of the coolest nights of my life, and this was also with Zach Galifianakis, and right before the Hangover came out. So he took off huge after the Hangover. Yes, he had been in movies and on TV shows and stuff prior to this live event, but it was really neat to see him in a smaller setting. I think Dimitri Martin was there, Nick Swardsden, and somebody else. It was a Funny or Die tour in 2008. It had to be 2008, my freshman year. Good times, though. Good times. We had a couple super chats rolling. First off from Reftheline. Thank you very much. There once was a man from Recede who invented a friggin' machine. Concave or convex, it pities the sex of jacks itself off in between. And jacks itself off in between, what? Is that from a movie? Is that Blade Runner? Because, let's see. He invented a machine that got out the glasses. He wears weird glasses, and they cave his eyeballs in. And it pities the sex. I don't know. Maybe that's my guess, Marethielene. Is that a Blade Runner limerick? Alpha Terranima says, got another copy of Metal Gear Solid. Sending it to World Class Bullshitters headquarters. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to add that to my Metal Gear Solid collection, right next to Sons of Liberty and my Sons of Liberty Solid Snake Figma action figure. I don't know what it is about that tactical espionage franchise, but my God, am I really into it right now. Will Ferrell's a carpetbagger. Damn. Those are some harsh words about Will Ferrell. I thought he was our friend. Will Ferrell is nobody's friend. If Will Ferrell was an ice cream flavor, he'd be pralines and dick. Sometimes I do it just to entertain myself. Hey, you got to. It's just me in an office right now, so there are certain things I need to do. So the Marvel thing is fine. The Star Wars thing is not fine. Ooh, Amber Heard's on TV. Yeah, Aquaman will be out close to Christmas. I'll check it out. Maybe for Amber Heard. Jason Momoa is cool in my book, though. But speaking of an actress who's not necessarily cool in anyone's book post-1984, would be Karen Allen. And if you don't know who Karen Allen is, she was Marion Ravenwood in Indiana Jones. And Indiana Jones is one of my favorite franchises of all time. There's just one. Up there with Star Wars. Hell, as a kid, it did surpass Star Wars for quite some time. Fourth one's garbage. But Karen Allen is hoping to return as Marion in Indiana Jones 5. Now, personally, I don't want Indiana Jones 5, and I don't want Marion. Indiana Jones 4 was a mistake. Making Karen Allen the love of Indy's life was a mistake. Dr. Elsa Schneider, yes, she died. Willie Scott, she was interesting, too. I think Spielberg and Lucas are just so in love with Raiders of the Lost Ark that they negated the other two, and I do mean Last Crusade as well, when making Part 4. And that wasn't good, in my opinion. I was beyond let down. Before there was A Force Awakens to be emotionally gutted over, there was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. And I didn't have an online outlet to discuss my displeasure. And the only reason I own the film is because the Blu-ray set includes it. If there was a Indiana Jones Blu-ray trilogy with all the special features, but no Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, well then damn it, I would have owned it. But there wasn't, and so I'm stuck with it. And speaking of Blu-ray sets, folks, I don't normally talk about sales on Amazon, but if you're a Back to the Future fanatic like I am, they have the new Back to the Future, not new, but the Back to the Future Blu-ray set that comes with the movies, the digital copies, the book, and the cartoon, normally $80 on sale for $20. So if you guys are looking for a last-minute gift for yourself for St. Nick, or you just love Back to the Future like me, well then, damn it, go get yourselves a copy. There's no excuse. The cartoon's fun. The movies are great. And that way, if you have Indiana Jones and Back to the Future, you can join us for our all-day commentaries, which will be coming at you pretty soon. Not this weekend. Definitely not next weekend because I won't be available. But probably early January, right after the holiday glut. You know, everyone's spent their money. They've eaten all their food. They're just kind of Well, come hang out with us. We'll watch some good movies. We'll give you some good commentaries, and we'll have some good fun. So, let's see. We had some more Super Chats rolling. First off, Cesare Japan, thank you very much. I have to wonder what aspects of Ms. Marvel / Captain Marvel they will gloss over. The rape story, Rogue stealing her powers, the Alki era, binary. I'd laugh if they called her binary. For me, okay, so to guess based off what you're asking, they'll gloss over a lot. They've said that it's based on the Kelly Sue DeConnick era, which, yes, it's perfect for your gender studies courses in college. But overall, there are better Captain Marvel stories to tell. And you're saying, which ones? Well, with Monica Rambeau, when she's back in the 80s with the cool Avengers teams, she's a lot better. Or Carol Danvers when she's not Captain Marvel, but Miss Marvel with the cool costume. And she's kind of sassy, but still funny. There were some decent jokes there. Again, folks, to make your female characters stoic does not make them strong and empowering. It makes them boring. I'm not saying you got to make them a joke, but a little humanity is what we all identify with. Not necessarily, oh, they fought and kicked ass. Well, that's nice that they fought and kicked ass, but I don't relate to them. You know, we can relate to Princess Leia. Loss of her planet, this, that, and the other. Not the case with Captain Marvel. So they'll gloss over the uncomfortable stuff because of the narrative. We can't put these women in peril. We can't say these terrible things. We can't do this and that. Look, I don't advocate for anything happening bad to real life people, but in a film, and you know, you just got to put these characters in danger. That makes it interesting and compelling. I don't want to see Batman just ride around in a van all day eating ice cream. No, I want to see Batman in danger, fighting for his life, fighting off thugs, saving people, doing crazy shit at night. There's a reason why the Batman stories really don't focus on Bruce Wayne's day-to-day interactions as much as they focus on the internal struggle of being Batman and what the city needs and stuff like that. Zach Lape, I think son of channel dad Brian Lape, thank you very much. Disney is kind of like throwing a catfish into a koi pond. They can survive for a while on koi, but eventually run out. That's a good point to make. I like that one. Yeah, you can only eat up Hollywood or eat up the entertainment industry for so long. Because through the acquisition of Lucasfilm by Disney, LucasArts died. So that destroyed that industry. And the LucasArts games always had their own identity, be them the older stuff like Day of the Tentacle, or the Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis game, or even more modern stuff like Rogue Squadron or Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed. But now, again, Star Wars has just become a homogenized mess. Just nothing. So, yeah, Disney eating up everything is stupid and dangerous and eventually will fail them. Much like, well, they own most of Hulu now. So they're going to try to put Netflix out of business, but Netflix is also a big company. There's going to be a streaming service war coming up. Everybody wants your money. Obviously, that's the point of a business. I understand and I respect that. And as long as it's within reason, how you do it, could be fine. But as a consumer, the streaming services are just going to become too cost prohibitive. I'm not going to drop $60 a month to stream everything. And then eventually licenses will get rescinded. Well, except Friends. Did you guys hear about that yesterday? Where it was rumored that Friends was going to leave Netflix in 2019, and the internet freaked the hell out. So Netflix dropped $100 million to keep Friends on their service for another year. I mean, Friends is on cable every 5 minutes. I mean, an episode of Friends just ended right now. But if people like it that much and people watch it that much from a business standpoint, it's worth to spend the money. I'll buy stuff for this channel because, it'll be worth it for the channel growth. Netflix will drop $100 million because it'll keep people watching Netflix. But when do we get to the bidding war for Friends? For example, let's say NBC only wants it on one streaming service. Okay, remember the NBA or the NFL 2K series? Remember the NFL 2K series back in the day? There's NFL 2000, 2K1, and 2K2 on the Sega Dreamcast. And maybe it was also on PS2 towards the end. There used to be multiple NFL franchises. Then one year, Madden got a bug up its ass and bought the exclusive rights for the NFL. And so there's only one NFL game each year, Madden, for better or worse. Imagine if we get that with our streaming services. And what if Disney is trying to play the aggressive game, outbid Netflix constantly, and try to put Netflix out of business? Disney loses money, and maybe some people think, well, it's just shit I already own or I've already seen. It's not worth signing up for their services for. Depending on how aggressive they play with this stuff, it could be good or bad. I don't think Netflix will die anytime soon, but there will be a point where Netflix and Hulu and all these things are overtaken by something else. It's great that they stream to your phone. I love the convenience factor. I used Hulu this morning before the show. I watched an episode of King of the Hill. It was one where they steal Dale's lawnmower. But like we said earlier, with the auto industry, Enron, Lehman Brothers, anything's possible. Anything can fail. And as a fan of entertainment and as a consumer, I think we all will lose if that's the case. Oh, God, at least we have Jessica Jones. It's funny, sometimes people are like, well, at least we have this. Well, yeah, we have the worst thing still. I do not like Jessica Jones at all. It's not because she's a woman. It's because it's a poorly produced show. And people would say, oh, it's not that bad. It's pretty damn bad. That's all I can say. It's honestly offensively bad at times. So I didn't know if the Avengers 4 trailer was going to drop today, so I have Good Morning America on. And they had a commercial for the Great American Bake Off. And my mom loves that damn Great British Bake Off show, so it looks like she's going to be watching that. Oh. She likes Paul Hollywood. She thinks he's cool. 2K was also on GameCube. Okay, so you guys remember the 2K series. You get the analogy I'm making, though. There were multiple outlets for your NFL gaming officially licensed experiences, but the big company came in and bought it up. And look at EA. You know, they came in, they bought up these licenses, they killed off these things, they kill off these small studios because they want to buy these properties, and then they do nothing with the properties. That's Disney to a degree. They're buying up 20th Century Fox, this big back catalog. They're not going to do much with it. Is it going to go live on Hulu? That's about all they're going to do. That's all they can do at this point. Yes, too many streaming services. People are just... And the thing is, streaming services aren't bad. There are some great things on there. I find the Netflix streaming the Netflix original series to be dog shit, but I find some of the Hulu ones to be compelling and intriguing. I loved the Stephen King one, 11/22/63. Castle Rock has been damn good from what I've watched. But for every one of those you get on Hulu, you get your the California special, your Orange is the New Black, your Ozark, your garbage shows. People like House of Cards. I've never watched it, so I did watch where Rooney Mara got pushed in front of a train, because I don't really like her that much. Not from a personal, or as a Kate Mara. Kate Mara got pushed in front of a train. I just wanted to see that happen. I don't think Daredevil was the only good Netflix show, but I do think that it was the best. I prefer that, then The Punisher, then... Oh, God, it gets murky because the other three options aren't that good. Defenders sucked. It was a disappointment. For all the hype and the pomp and circumstance that came with the Defenders, to me, Netflix dropped the ball. Marvel dropped the ball. The Daredevil parts were the best. The Luke Cage parts were okay. And Jessica Jones fit in her role, but her crossover stuff, I just don't love. And then Iron Fist, it could be anybody else. It could be anybody else. So speaking of Iron Fist and martial arts and Marvels, I believe, let's see if this is legit, because I've read an article and I want to make sure it's real. Okay, so this comes from Deadline. Be prepared. Oh my God. More SJW rhetoric coming from Marvel Comics, guys. Who's ready? You heard it here first, at least in terms of the High Council community. Get prepared to facepalm so hard it goes through your damn head. Shang-Chi, Marvel's first Asian film superhero franchise. Dave Callahan scripting search on for director of Asian descent. Okay. Good for it. Marvel Studios is fast-tracking Shang-Chi to be the first superhero movie tentpole franchise with an Asian protagonist. What about, was it Wang from Doctor Strange? What about him? Benedict Wong. What about him? I guess his name was Wong in the movie too. Shit. What about him? He was a hero. He was a damn good hero. He fought in Infinity War. He fought in Doctor Strange. He's Asian. Let's not act, again, like we're getting another first here, folks. That's all I can say. Let's stop acting like that. The studio has set Chinese-American scribe Dave Callahan to write the screenplay with Deadline. And Deadline here's Marvel is already looking for a number of Asian and Asian-American directors who want to do something as potentially monumental as the accomplished Marvel first viable Best Picture candidate, Black Panther. The film that... Oh, my God. I hate the society I live in. Let's keep going. If it's nearly all black cast with a black director and writer in Joe Robert Cole. The goal here is to do a similar thing, introduce a new hero who blends Asian and Asian American themes crafted by Asians and Asian American filmmakers. Ironically enough, the movie will flop in Asia like Crazy Rich Asians. So Asian people don't buy this shit. Well, at least with Crazy Rich Asians. Or Star Wars, they don't. After Marvel Studios' unparalleled decade of success following Iron Man, many have wondered how Kevin Feige's next iteration of superhero franchises will distinguish themselves. Clearly and important will be the ethnic diversity and inclusion in front and behind the camera. Do these motherfuckers ever get tired of saying the same shit? It's like there's a quota. We have to say the word inclusion and ethnic diversity every fucking article. After a while, it just becomes tiresome. It's like eating a chicken McNugget every day. One's okay, an order of 10's fine, but when you eat 100 of them, it gets really stale. And that's where I am right now. This is some really stale bullshit. You don't have to have Asian people write and direct the fucking movie to make it good. They can make their own stories. You're putting these Asian people into a box. You put black people into a box. You put women into a box for a narrative for a website like Deadline Hollywood. You don't really create anything great. I don't give a shit what color John Landis was. He made great Eddie Murphy comedies with Eddie Murphy, who was at the top of his game in the 1980s. This is really disingenuous. People say, well, what about Police Story? What about all these great Jackie Chan movies? What about these John movies? Because they're fucking made in Asia, where everyone's Asian. And that's the culture. That's their thing. They make their own movies. It's a normal thing. We're going out of our way to separate and put these people into a category. Well, only Asian people can write Shang-Chi, or only Asian people can direct Shang-Chi. Who the fuck gives a damn about Shang-Chi as a character? I don't. At best, it's an okay character. I have some of the comic books. I picked them up for like a quarter at the half-price bookstore. So I read them. You know what they are? They're a response to Bruce Lee, because Bruce Lee was the biggest thing in the early 70s, and Marvel wanted to cash in on the whole kung fu craze. And they did. And Shang-Chi was its own thing, but it's not really that popular. You see how they say the viable Marvel franchise with an Asian lead. Really? That's that important? The character's fine. Not once have I ever disliked it. Hopefully, they have the balls to embrace the movie for what it's supposed to be. A martial arts film in 2018 or 19 or 20, whenever it gets made. Let's not become too focused on the Asian stereotype narrative that they're going to promote in the media. Oh, we got to have all these things. We got to have our diversity quota. No, you have to make a good fucking movie. Black Panther made all the money because you had these groups. I'm buying out a theater for the local kids that can't afford to go and this, that, and the other. And they made it a community, a cultural thing. Are they going to do the same for Captain Marvel and the same for Shang-Chi? Are they going to put these movies out right at the beginning to try to, the beginning of the year where people or whatever, they're more ready to just accept shit and then get these cultural groups to buy in? Because if anyone ever says, well, Asian kids have never had a strong role model, well, their parents should be their role model, because a fucking fictional character is not who your kid should be looking up to, and if they are, you're a bad parent. Secondly, we can come up with countless Asian actors who've had a huge impact in America. Jackie Chan, the biggest one. People want to say Bruce Lee. Jackie Chan's had a legacy, has a legacy that will stand the test of time. Even his American-made films like Rush Hour were huge cultural events. But then you have, and these are the American titles, Super Cop, Rumble in the Bronx, well, that was made in Canada, Operation Condor, which was, I think, City of the Gods, all the Police Story films. Jackie Chan, Legend of Drunken Master, fantastic movies. Jackie Chan is the top of the A-list. Everybody knows and loves Jackie Chan. We don't have any. You have Jackie Chan. You have Bruce Lee. You have Jet Li. You have all these other actors. Donnie Yen in Star Wars, the guy that played his big sidekick. He was cool too. I don't have any problem with a Shang-Chi movie in practice. Actually, when I first heard it, I thought, that's cool. I used to love watching karate movies as a kid. We'd rent them all the time. You know, Friday night, get some pizza, watch a kung fu movie. Because we had this thing here in Cincinnati called, oh my God, what was it called? Friday Night Fu with Cap and Dave. It was a local TV host, and he, would just host kung fu movies. Some were bad, some were great. Every once in a while you get a Bruce Lee. Most of the time you get some third-rate broke-dick superhero or some third-rate broke-dick kung fu movie. But it worked. And I was already in. But again, the media just wants to keep going on about this racial diversity. And I think it's almost a segregative attitude to have, to put these people in a box. If what story you're trying to tell? because these are all fictional stories. George Lucas doesn't have a vagina for the most part that I can tell, but he created Princess Leia and did a damn good job. John Carpenter wrote Laurie Strode. Yeah, what's her name? Deborah Hill wrote the dialogue, but he created these characters. All these people, all these great characters can create... Everybody likes Harry Potter but me. A woman wrote him, a woman created him. I've never heard somebody go, oh, well, it really needs to be a small British boy that writes Harry Potter. You see, when the narrative favors the creator, then it's this great empowering thing. But when the thing is so important that it doesn't matter who creates it, well, we just gloss over that kind of stuff. So I'm sorry to yell about that stuff. Now, this dude, this Dave Callahan guy, I'm sure he's qualified, but shouldn't he be hired based on his knowledge of a character, love of kung fu movies and stuff like that, instead of instead of Disney and Marvel and Kevin Feige just trying to buy into the narrative? It's disingenuous at this point, and it pisses me off. Let anybody make that shit. Like with Ryan Coogler, that was the most dumb one yet, because T'Challa was in a fictional African country. I don't care if Ryan Coogler grew up in Africa. He's not going to be able to relate. It's a fictional monarchy. Get over yourselves, Disney. Get over your fucking selves. Okay, so let's see what people are saying about this. Sorry, I was trying to play it mellow and have fun, but this stuff just annoys the piss out of me because it's all these movies are about. They're not about good stories. And then when you get bad stories that have minority leads, you not only set back those people, you get attacked by self-righteous douchebag IGN and Twitter writers and all these people out there that want to be like, oh, our society needs to change, and this movie's the wake-up call. Bitch, you need to change. You need to shut up. Observer Dude, thank you very much. Do you think Hayden Christensen should appear in episode 9? No, I really don't. I don't think he's better because episodes 7 and 8 suck ass. He was better in 3 than he was in 2, I'll give him that. But there's really no reason for him to appear unless it's for Kylo Ren to have a come-to-Jesus moment, and then he realizes that Darth Vader came to the light side, but then what is the redemption for? He killed his dad, he has to get his comeuppance. If Hayden Christensen appeared as Anakin Skywalker in this great redemption moment, and then Kylo and Rey just kind of go off, the movies were for naught. They were literally, Harrison Ford was cast to be killed off. That kind of stuff like that is annoying. Maref Dealine, thank you very much. This wrestler is nothing but great, but shares a name with someone you hate with a pimp coat and no shirt, and they say they got hurt. Top 10 is where he should rate. Okay. Pimp coat. Oh, okay, so this wrestler is nothing but great. Shares a name with someone you hate. With pimp coat and no shirt. They said they got hurt. Top 10 is where he should rate. Who I hate. Wrestler with a name. Not Mr. Kennedy. Wrestler. Well, great. The great one is The Rock, but I know you wouldn't put The Rock. Because who does he share a name with? I hate Dwayne. I don't hate Dwayne Wade. He got hurt. Stone Cold Steve Austin? I don't know. He got hurt. Top 10 is where he should be. Undertaker? John Cena? I'm lost, man. Alpha Terra Diva, thank you very much. Gotta say meow at least 5 more times. Meow, 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 meow. I want chicken, I want liver. Reed Palancha, thank you very, very much. If you look at Asian cinema, they have awesome fight scenes. The Hollywood efforts are just not to the same level, except for those that actually got Asian stunts directors, e.g. The Matrix. Great to catch up with you today. Great to have you back, Reed Palancha. It's been a long time. But you can see I remember everybody. Yeah, the Asian fight choreography is always awesome, and it's always evolved. I believe Wire Fu came from there, or from that part of the world, well before we had it. The Matrix introduced a lot of stuff, but I think so The Matrix was 99 and it introduced bullet time to American audiences, but I believe it was in the first Metal Gear Solid. Pretty sure it was. I could be wrong. I'm just going off of a memory here. But Asian cinema, much like a lot of parts of our culture, the Asian cinema and Asian whatever was ahead of us. You know, it took us a while to accept anime and manga and have more adult-themed cartoons or adult-themed video games. And I don't mean just nudity. I'm talking like straight-up heavier themes. Japan was always ahead of the curve on that stuff. And the Chinese films like House of Flying Draggers, House of a Thousand Corpses, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, House of Fog and Sand. No, that's something else. House of Flying Daggers. That might be the movie. Not important. Those movies have some awesome fight choreography. When you get to the Americanized stuff, they do suck if they don't bring in the right cast. Excuse me, the right crew. That's what I'm hoping we get. I don't really want another Dragon, a Bruce Lee story. I want to see Enter the Dragon or something kick-ass. This movie should be amazing. I'm already into Asian cinema. You know, John Woo movies don't really fit, but I saw Hard Boiled. It was cool. I like those types of things. I like the style and the storytelling. There are certain universal elements that we can all relate to, and I'm into it. My problem is not a Asian lead, an Asian director, an Asian writer. The fact that is what the movie exists on. Like, what happens when you get to okay, I'm trying to think of a good movie example from Marvel. What happens when you make an X-Men movie? Are you going to get a mutated person to write, and to direct the film? No, you're not, because it doesn't fit with your narrative, and they don't exist like that. Nobody's shooting eye-beams out of their eyeballs, thankfully. It just gets too much, and it becomes hollow. It becomes a useless gesture. I, for one, can't wait till the day where everyone can just be like, oh, it's directed by this person, written by this person. I mean, a good chunk of these paragraphs have to be about, oh, it's the diversity and this and that and the other. I tire of it. I know you do too. Ricardo Guerra, thank you very much. The director of the Raid movies would be great for Shang-Chi, but he's white, so Marvel's not looking at him. Dude, the Raid Redemption, that's the one in the, was it Gareth Edwards? The one that's in the apartment, the crack apartment or whatever, that movie kicked so much ass. Dion and I watched that one year. He had seen it. It was my first viewing of it. Man, I was blown away. But yeah, because he's white, you can't do it. Talk about racism. Talk about marginalizing a person because of the color of their skin. Thanks, Marvel. Thanks, Disney. That is the kind of stuff. You know, James Wan, I believe. What is James Wan? Let's see. Let me look up James Wan real quick. Because James Wan directed Aquaman. Let's see. James Wan. Yes, obviously he's Asian. But James Wan directed Aquaman. He comes from Malaysia. Not once do I recall, now this is just my recollection, do I recall DC saying, oh, it's the first superhero film directed by an Asian. I could be wrong. Point me in the right direction. I'll retract my statement. But as of these current memories, I am not hearing that from the DC camp. I'm hearing about Jason Momoa and Aquaman and all of these things about the story. I see Amber Heard out promoting it. I see pictures of Jason Momoa, pictures saying how fun Jason Momoa is. All these things like that. But for some reason, all of the narrative at the Marvel camp is about the gender and the race of the producer, of the creator. It's disingenuous, it's hollow, and that's actually racist. It's garbage that they do those types of things. Hastings is good. Hey, Joel, what's up? Jeff, you are the drunken master. Thank you. I like to think that I am. Just don't test me, bro. Your kung fu is weak. Cesare Japan says Super Cops from a series called Police Story. Yeah, I know that. I've only seen the first American Super Cop, as well as like Jackie. I guess was it Armor of the Gods, Operation Condor, or Operation Condor is Armor of the Gods 2. I've seen these movies within reason. You're renting them in the 90s, where most of them had shitty dubs. We didn't do subtitled films as a kid. Jason Culture, thank you very much. Did you see Tessa Thompson's recent comments? I don't even know who Tessa Thompson is. Let me see who she is. Okay, so Tessa Thompson is Valkyrie. Tessa Thompson reminds white actors how they can use their privilege to help others. Motherfucker. You know what? This woman doesn't even get my time. Fuck you, Tessa Thompson. Oh, you're just an angry white man. I'm as black as you are. Shut the fuck up. Swinging Cod says, if they have to, Park Chan-wook, Old Boy. Have I... I saw the original Oldboy in college, but dude, that was probably close to 10 years ago. So I am just there's a fight scene with a hammer, right? That's the best memory I have about whatchamacallit, Oldboy. A Master Bo-Rai Cho, the Phantom Menace. Is that the guy that pukes everywhere in Mortal Kombat? Blame It on Heat, the best movie of the 90s. Heat was a damn fine film. If you honestly think that's the best film of the 90s, I'm not going to disagree with you. It's damn fine. Is it my favorite? No, I think Wayne's World is the epitome of 90s filmmaking. Not in terms of quality, but in terms of a time capsule of the decade, and my personal favorite. Heat's a better made film. Heat is a better made film. Michael Mann, dude, Miami Vice, Manhunter, Heat, even the Miami Vice film I like. Ong Bak guy was... Okay, so question, how bad is the trailer for Captain Marvel or Episode 9? Because we talked about the Great Disney Glut earlier. It's rumored that the trailer's going to drop this month on top of other stuff. So, Moret Aline, thank you very much. Answer is John Morrison. He shares his name with John Cena, and the official reason why he left was because he got hurt. Man. Damn it. I like Joe, though. That's the reason I don't like CM Punk, because he gave me shit for wearing a John Morrison shirt, and he was a dick to me, so I was like, whatever. Jeff, best diverse film of the 90s? The Craft. Fairuza Balk, Nev Campbell, and some other chick. Was that the black girl from Half Baked? I don't remember. But I do like the movie Half Baked quite a bit. That's a fun movie. There you go. That's a diverse cast. You got a black guy, 2 white guys, and I think his friend was Mexican. So, there you go. Half Baked. Most diverse film of the 90s that I still like. Goodfellas is a fantastic 90s flick. I might like Goodfellas more than I like Heat, honestly. See, I like to have those discussions. Yeah, we talk about the geek culture stuff. We talk about the fun stuff that we love, the Star Wars, the Indiana Jones, this, that, and the other. But there are certain movies that have certain levels of quality that you can't really deny them as great. And I believe Goodfellas is up there. Goodfellas and Casino are my 2 favorite mobster flicks. Haven't seen The Godfather. Could change. May not change. I know a lot of people out there that enjoy Goodfellas over The Godfather. I'll just have to see them both, because I'm not going to watch the 3rd Godfather, and make my own mind up. The final shootout in the Miami Vice movie is the only good part. Are you talking about where what's-her-name is hooked up to the bomb? Because I only saw the movie once on, what is that streaming service? Crackle. It was on Crackle for free, and I gave it a shot. And I liked it. Miami Vice is my favorite TV show. That and the Twilight Zone. I got Miami Vice on Blu-ray. I don't own the Twilight Zone, but I got a Crockett and Tubbs vinyl action figure set. I got the Blu-rays. I have 4 copies of the first Miami Vice soundtrack on record, and 1 copy of Miami Vice, the soundtrack Volume 2. I have a Crockett action figure. I need to get Tubbs. Miami Vice is one of those things. If you put it on a piece of merchandise today, much like Beverly Hills Cop, I will buy it. Much like James Bond, I will buy it. If a company out there wanted to make some serious bank off of me, all you got to do is say, hey, here's some Miami Vice shit, and I'm going to take it. You want me to make a Miami Vice video? I could talk about it. Next year would be the 35th anniversary. I could do that. I really love the show. I know a couple of our listeners like it. It might be a hard sell. Might actually, I'm not trying to stroke people, I might throw it on Patreon so I can put the music from the show, because the music and the show go hand in hand. And if you watch the show, you definitely know that's the case. Thunder Robot says, tell Ethan next time to choose a topic before inviting the chat on. That's why I didn't join. Didn't know what to talk about. Well, he just made it up on the fly. I left right away after the show went off the air. So, I personally, I don't think that would have ever been good with a live mic, because you never know what could have happened. But it's his channel, and he makes the rules on his channel, and all I can do is back him, and I did. I honestly don't think there will be a next time Thunder Robots. When I host the High Council, I won't be doing that. Sorry. If you guys want to get on the channel, you know what's up. but there's too many variables with live mics and people we don't know about. So that's probably why it'll never happen here on World Class Bullshitters. People are loving Shawshank Redemption. That's a good movie. It's a very good movie. My uncle who has cancer likes that. Was it Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying? He's got that poster in his garage and he looks at it every day. Welcome, Jaron Ricewig and Matt G. Thank you very much. The Hulk was directed by an Asian. Oh, Ang Lee. Yeah, that movie was garbage, too. Ang Lee, James Wan, Taika Waititi. I don't really know anything about that guy. I mean, call me, old-fashioned, but everyone's equal in my book based on their appearance. Just, I'll judge your movies based on if it's a good movie. You don't get a pass. Oh, the Asian lens. What? What? Miami Vice is kind of like Top Gun in terms of where the soundtrack is pretty much half the show. To a degree, but if you actually pay attention to all the Miami Vice episodes, there are some filmmaking techniques that had never appeared on television. They were film techniques, and they adapted them for television that sometimes still haven't been topped to this day. The I Can Hear It Coming in the Air Tonight Phil Collins segment, incredible. Some of the violence. There's this one episode about a madman who's breaking into people's houses and killing them, and Crockett can't sleep and he goes crazy. Those are things I like to watch 80s television. It was very saccharine and boring and plain Jane. Cosby Show, for as much as I love it, Family Ties. There's just certain shows that weren't really groundbreaking. Maybe Family Ties' whole gimmick was, oh, he's a conservative, the parents are liberals. Let's see what happens. Well, Alex P. Keaton was so damn good, nobody cared about his political views. But Miami Vice actually did change the way television shows were made. Believe me, the soundtrack thing's very valid, and I don't think you're taking it as a knock, or knocking the show, and I don't take it like a personal knock, because that's one of the reasons why I bought the Blu-ray set the way I did, because they said all the music is intact. It goes hand in hand, much like Beavis and Butthead and Daria, but unlike Beavis and Butthead and Daria, they took the music out, they took music out of those shows. Miami Vice gets the whole treatment. And that's the only way you can really enjoy Miami Vice. See, Miami Vice is the best reflection of 1980s popular culture because it actually dictated 1980s popular culture. When you look back on stereotypical 80s guys, a lot of that shit comes from Miami Vice. The haircuts, the glasses, the suits, the cars, the music, the style, everything. I mean, that show was a tastemaker. It was the World Class Bullshitters before there was a World Class Bullshitters. I mean, that show, and the coolest part about it is, it still stands up. Even if you think, well, the music's dated or this and that, the characters, the characterization, the violence, the action, the intensity are second to none. Miami Vice, in my opinion, is the greatest television show to deal with cops ever. You may say Dragnet, you may say NCIS or any of that other crap that's on TV today. But Miami Vice was cool, it was sexy, and it didn't overstay its welcome. It's memorable. Everything about it, I love it. What do I like better, Con Air, The Rock, or Face Off? Face Off, then Con Air, then The Rock. The only reason I put The Rock at the bottom is because I've only seen it once. I like it, but I love Face Off. I love Nicolas Cage. Con Air is awesome. Columbo. They say Columbo's the shit. I like Columbo. I like Hawaii Five-0. I even like... What's that show? Not Kolchak the Night Stalker, because he's not a cop. What's the one... Oh, Kojak. Those are all fine shows. But Miami Vice is like the main event. Those are all nice, Saturday afternoon with your grandma shows. But Miami Vice comes on. Dude, Miami Vice was so popular at one point. Newspapers across the country would publish an article that told you all the songs that played, and people would go out later because Miami Vice was on Friday nights. It was that big of a deal. I mean, you can't buy that kind of popularity these days. For every inclusive article like Deadline Hollywood puts out, you will never get an organic hit like Miami Vice. And you know what? Miami Vice was accidentally diverse. Crockett and Tubbs, a great black and white cop duo. all the great buddy cop duos were a black guy and a white guy, and it wasn't, oh, you're black and I've learned to respect you. It's you're my partner and I will die for you if I have to type of thing. Crockett and Tubbs had it. Riggs and Murtaugh had it. Hell, even Reggie Hammond and Jack Keats had it. Yeah, that's his name, right? Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy in 48 Hours. At Beverly Hills Cop again. All these dynamics were there. And, nowadays, they would make it about, like, oh, I need to understand you better and this and that. No. You're just two dudes. You're both cops. The job is what brings you together. Let's not make it about the skin color. And how did I like The Rock and Welcome to the Jungle? I did. I liked that movie. Jumanji 2? I liked that movie. That was one of my favorite movies I've seen this year. So, Sorry Japan, thank you very much. Saw Battlefield 5 launch party with the blue screen of criticism over a hashtag. They even had one lauding a grandpa fighting in Normandy for the BS. That game is not going to be remembered next year for anything but a hive of negativity and stupidity. And the quicker the game dies, the happier I think we will all be. Much like Fallout needs to pass away, much like whatever else Bethesda puts out needs to just be on a brand new engine. 2018 has been a very bad year for the AAA blockbuster title. Hell, Call of Duty came out and I wasn't even aware of it. It could have been selling big numbers, but I just don't even hear people talk about it or playing it or anything like that. I feel like some of these big franchises, it's like the year that people rebelled against it. Smaller story-based things or titles that haven't been out in a couple years. Like the annual franchises are losing their zest. People just don't want it anymore. WWE games are garbage now. Battlefield looks pretty whatever. But Red Dead hadn't been out since 2011. People ate it up. It sold so much. I think people now are smarter, meaning these yearly annual games, they'll get them on clearance, they'll play them for a couple of weeks, they'll move on to something else. But the big titles, the things that have the years of development and the painstaking attention to detail and the worlds that are built, those games will always continue to sell. And I think single-player games are on the rise in terms of what people want, because everyone says, oh, the future's online only. And then you get these games that are single-player and then have an online component like Red Dead, and they sell buku dollars. So people will always be looking at what is the most popular thing. It's the Star Wars symptom. Star Wars made so much money back in the day, well, then James Bond goes to space. So if you're a fan of single-player games, I don't think you should be too nervous, because there's God of War that came out, Uncharted games, Spider-Man, Red Dead, all these big open world, or at least big games that have single-player modes, they'll always be around. Super Mario Odyssey. Yeah, there's Smash Brothers, and I'm going to be getting that soon. But don't forget about, that. Corinne Horn, thank you very much. Both Hawaii Five-0 shows are good. I remember watching the original with my grandpa in the early 80s. Corinne Horn, my grandma, who's still with us, thankfully, loves cop shows. And she used to watch Hawaii Five-0. She still watches her police dramas to this day. I know he wasn't a cop, but she watched a lot of Matlock. She also watched In the Heat of the Night, which is, a TV show based on a movie. I haven't watched Hawaii Five-0, the new edition, so I don't have too much of a frame of reference, but it looks better than the new Magnum P.I. series. And a show that I don't find to be offensively bad is Lethal Weapon. I don't love the show, but I don't think Lethal Weapon is that bad of a TV show that I had it on yesterday when we had the High Council. I was on in the background, no sound. There's just something about the dynamic that I thought worked on TV. Now, since the guy that played Murtaugh left, Riggs, because Damon Wayans plays Murtaugh, it's not as good. Sean William Scott's an okay actor. I like him. Country Mac is great. But the magic is gone, and I don't see the show lasting too much longer, which is kind of sad. So for those out there that keep asking about the Star Wars trailer, there's there's a tweet from CEO of Collider, Steven Weintraub, that says, Frozen 2 and Star Wars Episode 9 footage to be revealed before December 25th, or he'll be shocked. So that is the news right now. That is everything we know so far, so you haven't been misled in the title. We talked about it at great lengths and detail in the beginning of the show. Safe space, she wrote. So, tomorrow night is the podcast. World Class Bullshitters, episode 151. But afterwards, I'm thinking about doing a live stream for my trip up to GameStop to pick up my copy of Smash Brothers at midnight, and then coming back to do some gameplay after Good Morning Pop Culture on Friday, just to let you guys see some Smash Brothers action. I feel like a lot of people are excited about this game, and for some reason, people love game streams, so why not give you guys what you want? So I'll have our big video worked on today up for tomorrow, and then on Friday, we'll have some Smash Brothers fun into the evening. I don't have any plans Friday night. I will work on the comic book, but I am going to do some Smash Brothers gaming, and we can play through the game together. You can ask questions, we can look at trophies, we can do all that fun stuff. So it's going to be a great Friday. So hit the smash button, smash that up button, and now that I have the Elgato HD60 and I can stream games for you guys, and the Nintendo... It was perfect timing because I wanted to do this, I wanted to play the game, but I never wanted to get involved in the Nintendo partnership. Well, the Nintendo partnership ended on YouTube. It's dead. It never should have existed. It's stupid. So it was the perfect time. I think they knew Smash Brothers streaming was too hot to pass up. Nintendo's past generation was a generation of mistakes, much like the PlayStation 3 and the current Xbox One, where you get these consoles that come off of a big win. Either they're the number one console or they have massive success overall in terms of game sales like the Xbox 360 did, because that thing sold like 1 billion games. And then you get a little too cocky, and then you make mistakes. And the Wii blew people away in terms of sales, and then the Wii U was garbage and confusing, and they made all these stupid archaic decisions, and now the Switch is out. They want to come back and win big, so they get rid of the old policies. And for the most part, I think they're doing a damn fine job. I'm very happy. I'm a happy, satisfied Switch owner. And I'm excited to see Smash Brothers this weekend. I'm so excited to play it. I've owned every single one. I'm pretty decent. I don't play professionally, obviously, because if I did, there would be no podcast. I'd be traveling the world playing Smash Brothers, which would be a cool life. But be prepared for some fun, and as always, our streams are interactive. Even when I play Spider-Man, which is a story-driven game, I try to keep you guys involved in the loop. It's it's a podcast, it's a game stream, but it is us hanging out together as a group, and I don't want to neglect anybody. So if you enjoy Smash Brothers, if you're on the fence, if you want to just watch it, get involved. And no, it will not interfere with any of the other things that we do here on the channel. Thunder Robots, thank you very much. When did they do a live-action Frozen? Or when they do a live-action Frozen, do you think they'll keep the implied lesbian incest, or will they keep that in Frozen 2? Yeah, I do. I think they'll keep that because of the climate they live in. They'll think, if they take something like that out, you'll get some writer at the Mary Sue who attacks Disney. And for some, it's funny, these big corporations like Disney, like Lucasfilm, they can just ignore these fucking people and these articles disappear, but then they're so afraid of them, but then they lose money. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. They'll keep it in because of fear. Fear of the battle station will keep the systems in line. They censored a female character in Smash Brothers. I have a set number of characters I use. Link, Solid Snake, maybe Mewtwo now that he's back. I'll try Ken from Street Fighter because he's my favorite Street Fighter character. I don't really use any of the female players. Maybe Samus every once in a while. Don't like that it's censored, but I'm not going to play as her. It could be anybody. There's no female Nintendo character or licensed character that they're bringing in that has me excited. Put the bunny down. So, crew, hit the muff button. We're getting close to the end of the show. And we're finally able to talk about the movie that I want to share with you. I'm really not going to share it with you because it's an easily accessible film. But today is the anniversary of one of my favorite films, Beverly Hills Cop. So it's 34 years old, an odd number to talk about. I was actually going to do a video on it, but I thought I'm going to save it for the 35th anniversary. So you got to wait a whole year. Again, it's Beverly Hills Cop. I don't think you guys care enough. Maybe 1,000 people would watch it, and that's cool. That'd be $1 for the channel. But the amount of time I would want to put in, maybe a 35th anniversary when the movie's more popular. But the movie came out wide release on this day in 1984, and I wasn't alive, but it is a movie that has changed my life, that has strengthened my friendship with Dion. And we always talk about anniversaries and passings and this and that, but there's rarely a day that goes by that I don't hear Axel F play Axel F on the keyboard, or at least look at clips of the movie. I don't know why it's such a big part of my movie life, but it is, and I'm glad I have access to it. I love it. The number one thing on my list of collectibles is an Axel Foley action figure. They'll never make one. That saddens me, but I can dream. They said they would never make another Jack Nicholson Joker. They've made 2 more. So, Hot Toys, Sideshow, if you ever want to pull the trigger and make an Axel Foley doll, I will buy 2. 1 to collect, 1 to display, depending on the price. NECA, if you want to make an Axel Foley action figure series, 1 in his traditional outfit from number 1, then the gray sweatshirt from number 1, and the jacket from Detroit Lions in number 2, I'll buy 2 of each figure, and I will open those up. 1 to play with, 1 to keep in the box. So, if anyone's seen it, press 1. I'd be glad if you guys, let's see, F, is the stream roboting out? Let's see. No, the stream seems to be doing fine. Collider sucks, sorry, I can't remember. Do you remember they report something on air? Trying to be fake news. Well, we have tweets and stuff. It only makes them look bad when they report garbage like this. It only hurts their credibility. When you got John Campia calling people cousin lovers because they dislike something, that looks bad and reflects poorly on your company. And I don't trust them in terms of honesty with their reporting of their opinions. I believe that their opinions are bought and paid for. But I do think they're a shill channel, and I think as a shill channel, they have access to news. They know the right people. So that is why I've reported on this to you guys now twice, because I think that there's some... Collider has some credibility, and I don't think that they want to lose that by putting out fake garbage news and exciting people and then lying and then turning them off. It's too confusing. Campia was on Collider. He used to be. Big time. So lots of 1s, lots of love for Beverly Hills Cop. Cool. We'll have to do a live stream of that fairly soon. I'll make sure Dion's on that one. You can't not watch one of your favorite movies with your best friend who loves the movie as much as you do. And yes, this year I did buy an Axel Foley costume. Never got to wear it. It's just hanging up on my door. Still, the jacket and the shirt and the jeans. And it's it's awesome. It's my favorite. I really don't know what to say about it. I just want to watch the fucking thing. That's all I can say. Screen Cookies. Don't watch them anymore either. If you want to know my honest thoughts on Screen Junkies, I loved them at one point. They were one of the reasons why I wanted to do a podcast, because I would watch movie fights and there'd be so many inaccuracies that I'd get pissed off. But the reason I stopped watching Screen Junkies wasn't because they were overly SJW or any of that garbage. It was there. My problem with them is how poor of a judge Andy Signore was. He was the worst. He would be unfair. He would give advantages to certain people and then penalize other people for doing the same stuff. So I stopped watching because he was a bad judge. And I know he's no longer there, but I just don't care about any of the people. That rotation of people they had were boring. The Alicia girl would always talk about Citizen Kane won an Oscar. That's great that it won a fucking Oscar. It's not my favorite movie. You don't get to just use the argument, it won an Oscar because it won an Oscar and you win. No, that doesn't mean shit. Annie Hall won an Oscar. Star Wars is the better movie. Same thing with Chris Stuckman. Everybody knows Chris Stuckman. He went on there and he talked about, oh, Tomorrowland's great. It's Brad Bird. It's Brad Bird. It's Brad Bird. And he didn't elaborate. All he kept saying, it's Brad Bird. I saw Tomorrowland. That movie fucking sucked. I never again trusted Chris Stuckman nor watched his channel after that appearance. I was done with the dude. Screen Junkies just seem to be, Dad and his weird friends. A bunch of loser people that can't make it as an actor, so they go out there to show up. The only person to ever appear on their channel regularly that I find to be entertaining and excellent was Nick Mundy. That dude was awesome. That dude was funny. Yes, he got married by The Rock, and I'm a little jealous. But either way, take that aside, or take that out. I thought he was funny and had some decent insight. Good insight. And I never felt like he was respected enough. He was the butt of the joke. I get it. It was funny for some points, but sometimes he would come out and make these really valid, real points, and it's just like, let's let Trisha, what's her name, win. Let's see, Laura, it's a short story, says, I hate clickbait, I just unsub from a channel for it. Okay, well, this wasn't clickbait. We already talked about the Star Wars 9 trailer, so we did not clickbait you. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. Could I get Eddie on the channel? Do you mean like Eddie Murphy? Yeah, I wish. Anything's possible, you never know. Let's see, I bet the horse scene, let's see. Let's see, what I find annoying is the mainstream channels put soy face on to convey excitement, but when you take a look, you see how fake they are. Well, 2018 was the year that the soy-faced, fake advertising arms of these companies really were exposed. I'm not trying to pull a Review Tech USA card, but realistically, they're advertising. That's all they are. They're marketing for a movie studio. That is not my cup of tea. If I want an honest opinion of something, I want an honest opinion. I'm trying to think of a critic. I don't watch any more internet critics or anything like that. I make my own content. I go see the movies myself. The only dudes that I'll watch movie reviews on, and they're not even new movie reviews. They're a channel. They're called We Watched a Movie. I love them. They're kind of local. We have more subscribers. I know that doesn't mean anything in the long scheme, but I'd like to collaborate with them next year closer to Halloween. Do me a favor. When you're done here, check out We Watched a Movie and watch one of their videos. They're fun. They talk mostly about horror, but they're two good dudes, and they're entertaining. Say World Class Bullshitters sent you. They'll catch on. We'll make that connection real quick. Laura, it's a short story, says, oh, no, not you. Sorry, other channels. Oh, okay. I thought, because people keep saying about, what's with the 9 trailer? Like I said, we talked about that earlier, but I'm glad we got that caught up. I like you, Laura, it's a short story. Or Laura, Ryan stole my fan fiction story. I remember you. I'd hate to see you leave. Chris Stuckman hated Halloween 3 only because Tom Atkins was a pervert in a few scenes, even though he wasn't. Yeah, that's the kind of stupid shit. The only thing Chris Stuckman ever did good, in my opinion, was talk about how wrong people are calling the Green Goblin costume and Spider-Man a Power Ranger suit. Other than that, all of his opinions... Well, his opinions aren't wrong. I can't put it like that. But I find his criticisms to be invalid on a lot of topics. Therefore, I just stopped watching. I'm not going to go to his comment section and cause him problems or say anything bad about him personally. I just left the community because I don't feel a need to spend my time watching his reviews. Much like the Flick Pit critic, I don't watch him anymore. There's just so many of them. Even the Nostalgia critic and stuff like that. It's funny. In hindsight, the person who has had the most longevity with an internet career and really hasn't missed too much of a beat is the Angry Video Game Nerd. Yeah, there was a couple years where he was trying to do his movie stuff and Board James and all this other crap that some people watched, some people didn't. But he kept you strung along enough with the nerd to where you were excited. You would still keep watching the channel. And now he's put out, I don't know, 10 nerd videos this year, maybe more. I've watched every one, and they've always been fun. It takes me back to being in college and late high school, having a great time. But he has stayed pretty pure, and I respect James Rolfe for, what he said about Ghostbusters, and I think his opinions on certain things are close to mine, and it's interesting to hear him recommend things I've never seen. Because I know how he feels about certain genres and certain types of entertainment, I'm willing to give him a chance. So, overall, I think the nerd has had the best career. Have I ever watched Schmoes Knows? No, because I've seen the Schmoes on Screen Junkies. Again, I think they suck, especially Christian Harloff. That dude is just a big bully. He would always try to bully people into, what, you don't like this? You don't like this? Shut the fuck up, dude. Seriously. I'm waiting for someone to just tell those people to, just shut their mouths. But, they would be afraid. Laura, it's a short story. Thank you very much again. Second to clickbait, I also hate social media drama. Yeah, I do too. We don't really get into that. I've never spoken to Ryan Johnson on Twitter. I've never spoken to any of these people. That's just not my thing. I speak to you guys. We have a lot of fun. And I really, have a great audience that continues to grow. And I'll just be happy with what I got instead of creating drama. Believe me, I produce good content that millions of people will watch. And that's how I want the attention brought to me. Let's see. Mark Ellis is a joke. I don't even watch that motherfucker. Chad AVGN is better than the Virgin Nostalgia Critic. I would believe that the Nostalgia Critic has never been laid in my life. Or his life. I used to really like him and Spoonie and all those guys. Spoonie is the only person I've ever reached out to. Back when there was that Channel Not So Awesome drama, I said, hey man, I got a decent channel. You want to come on and talk about the... No, I don't do free interviews. I never responded because I ain't paying that fucking dude. No thank you. He doesn't really warrant a buck or two. Like, if somebody's like, send me a cheeseburger. Okay, I'll go to DoorDash. You pick a place. Anywhere from McDonald's $1 menu to Jack in the Box $6 cheeseburger. You got it if you come on the channel. That's about that. Let's see. David Hervey says... kind of slowed down on the AVGN after his review of The Last Jedi. He liked it. Other than that, I enjoyed his nerd videos. I also hate reaction channels. Yeah, I don't do reaction channels at all. I've done one ironic reaction video, and it was a success. This was years ago, or a year ago, I should say. And that was it. I don't watch James Rolfe's other videos. I don't watch his movie reviews outside of, like, Cinemassacre's Monster Madness. And I don't watch his little VHS things unless they're movies I already like. So, like, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It's a terrible movie. I just wanted to hear somebody else rail on it for another reason. Overall, I don't like... For the big new movies, I never watch his reviews. I did watch his Ghostbusters Why He Won't Review It thing, and that was legit. So I didn't really know he liked The Last Jedi. Thankfully, the angry video game nerd hasn't talked about it. Only James Rolfe. Let's see. Thank you, Robert Whitaker. I appreciate that compliment, by the way. Spider-Man, not Bug Boy. Awesome name. And the 1982 thing is better than all the Star Wars movies. I mean, it's a hard argument for me to make that the thing is a great movie. I don't have any negative things to say about it, no pun intended. I'll take Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back over it, but everything post-Empire, I'll watch The Thing or choose The Thing over it all day, every day. I love the atmosphere, I love the setting, I love the tension, the music. Kurt Russell's the fucking man. I'm with you there, but I will take Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back over The Thing. I don't know, maybe it's the emotional connection. It's to me, Star Wars... I want to say Star Wars is the perfectly structured film. For anyone that says Tatooine is boring, I don't think you have much of an attention span, honestly. The movie builds. You learn everything you need to know through exposition in the beginning. Once you meet Luke, the story progresses forward. Once you meet Han, the story moves on at the speed of light. Once you land on the Death Star, shit just goes action, 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 action. Space battle, end of day. I fucking love it. Empire is incredibly well paced as well. There's a couple questions I have about it, therefore it doesn't make the list as high as the original Star Wars. Who asked about Candyland? Kenneth Sungard, if you ask, remind me towards the end of the show, I'll tell you a funny Candyland story about me and my mom, or my mom and I. Laura, it's a short story, thank you again. What are your thoughts on Grace Randolph, or Odin? So Odin's movie blog, I subscribe to his channel. I guess he's part of the fandom menace, and I want to help everybody that's part of this, reach a certain level of success, high levels of success. These people you're cool. I don't know Odin personally. Just because Jeremy interacts with these people on Geeks and Gamers or he has them on their channel, I've never spoken to a lot of them. Anna, that Star Wars girl, is very nice. I could consider her, we're friendly. We're Facebook friends. I've talked to her. She's really, really a nice person. So I have nothing but good things to say about her. I know Jessie as well, nowhere near as well as Anna, but she's nice to me, so she's cool. But I don't know everybody involved with the Geeks and Gamers family. Just Jeremy. I know Jeremy the best, then Anna, and then Jessie Milestone a bit. Grace Randolph, she's successful for a reason, but I don't subscribe to her channel. I used to really, really hate her content. What I'm saying is I like what she says about Star Wars, but because I like it, it isn't enough for me to say, oh, everything you do is great, if that makes sense. I don't dislike her as a person or anything like that. Her criticisms of Star Wars to me are on point. And then some of her praising of, DC, she was fired by Marvel, I believe, at one point. So, I don't know. She's just okay is the best thing I can say. I don't really have anything too negative to say about her. I don't want her to go away. I don't wish her anything bad. She's okay. She exists. I watch her every once in a while. And you know what? I will give her a shout out. You know why? Because Grace Randolph and her Kathleen Kennedy news really helped us create a lot of great content. So Grace Randolph, there's a salute to you. I did the home improvement salute that you can't see. Ethan Long, thank you very much. Do you watch Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn? I used to. I can't stand Linkar anymore. Not really a personal dig. I don't dislike him as a guy or what he does on his off time. That's fine. I don't like his Spider-Man voice, and he is too much of a male feminist, and he bitches about Frank Miller. Frank Miller is one of the greatest comic book creators of all time. Get over yourself, dude. Okay? I'm the goddamn Batman. Oh my god, get over it. You can run a joke into the ground. Let's see you create a comic book. So, if you like Linkara, cool. I like comic book stuff. Every Monday, I used to watch Atop the Fourth Wall. I'd eat dinner in college. I'd take the food back to my room, and I'd watch Atop the Fourth Wall and, eat and enjoy it. But after a while, like all the Channel Awesome people, my interest expired in all of them. So, no longer do I support any of them with my time. Thank you, DJ D Show. Let's see. Christian Harloff mocked another person for saying Batman 89 was his favorite Batman film. Oh, you're blinded by nostalgia? Do I ever act like that to you, Jeff? If Christian Harloff said that, I'm going to say, are you blind? What would I say to him in that argument? Besides, no, fuck you, because that would admit I don't have an argument. So I say, are you blinded by nostalgia? I say, no, I see a quality film and I don't jump on the bandwagon like everyone did with The Dark Knight, you sycophantic bitch. There we go. That's what I'd say to him. I'd love to have him on the channel and debate him over some Star Wars. This isn't a call out, so don't anyone say, oh, world class bull. Anyway, put it like this. If you post that on Twitter, we're no longer friends, so don't go making up lies. But next year, I'd like to have a debate with that guy about not just Star Wars, but movies in general, and see what we can have. That could be a lot of fun. Nicholas Glenn, thank you very much. Did you ever play the board game Fireball Island? I did not. Played Monopoly, played Candyland, played Operation, Game of Life, Hungry Hungry Hippos, but never, ever Fireball Island. Wild Warlock, it's been a while, but thank you very much. They have made a green pea and mayonnaise pizza. Ooh, the pro-pineapple and anti-pineapple war needs to be put aside to destroy this evil. And hello, C-word. Well, hello, C-word. Do you do, my friend? Green pea and mayonnaise pizza. That sounds disgusting. Ugh. See, I think most people bitch about pineapple pizza because it's a thing on the internet to bitch about. Pineapple pizza, I love it. It's delicious. If you haven't had it, and you're bitching about it, take a bite. You know what? To shut up the people about the pineapple pizza argument, I'd take a taste of this green pea and mayonnaise pizza. If it sucks, I can give you an honest appraisal of the situation. Now, if it's like pizza crust with mayonnaise and green peas on top, ugh. And I like mayonnaise on sandwiches and then Miracle Whip, and potato salad and all that stuff, but I can't eat straight mayonnaise. The smell of it makes me want to vomit. Oof. But pineapple and ham pizza is my favorite. The other day on Facebook, we had one of those, you know, those memory things on Facebook. A pineapple and ham pizza made by my mom popped up, and I was like, Mom, I wish you were making one of those right now. But we went to O'Charlie's instead. So, pro pineapple, people like pineapple, green pea mayonnaise, and turkey leg pizza, Nick's favorite. Let's see, problem is that pineapples are far too hot while pizza itself has already cooled down. I've never had that issue. Because usually the places I go or when I make it myself put crushed pineapple on the pizza. So I enjoy it. I really enjoy pineapple pizza. Oh, I was only referencing the last episode of Board James. No worries. I forget the end of the story. No, I want to tell a story for real, Kenneth. It's a funny story. You guys will get a chuckle out of it. Because I always tell you guys little bits of Jeff stories. Kendo has the Jeff story of the week. But I have genuine, Jeff stories because I'm me. Give WCBS money to eat this evil pizza. Sure. Yeah, listen to the DJD show, folks. Listen to the DJD, folks. I like bacon and extra cheese on my pizza like a real man. Well, I like that pizza, too. I don't only like pineapple and ham. I don't only like pineapple or pepperoni and extra cheese or sausage and pepperoni or bacon and cheese. I like all kinds of pizzas. The only things I don't really like on pizza are mushrooms and anchovies or olives. I can do all the other toppings. And I can eat mushrooms and olives if I have to, but I never order them on my own pizza. Do you want to bet if Lando's going to be a dad in episode 9? I would bet you that he will be a dad. Duke's Brothers bet. One person gets that bet. Because I think he will be the father of Naomi Ackie's character. She will be this woke, progressive, I'm in for the cause, let me call my dad to help out, and Lando's her dad type of thing. That's going to be the big twist. And you're going to get some fucking guy that goes, yeah! Lando! And everyone else is just going to be like, they announced it a year and a half ago, dude. But remember that time on Cloud City? They announced it here. Yeah, but remember the time at the battle at Tanab? That was a line of dialogue. Shut the fuck up. You see, people are going to get excited for this Lando appearance. I like Lando. I own a couple of his figures. But it's really not, Lando's not a big draw. You got a big draw out of Harrison Ford. Oh, Harrison Ford in Star Wars? No way. Look, I love Mark Hamill. Luke Skywalker is the hero of Star Wars. But Mark Hamill doesn't have the drawing power that Harrison Ford had. Do you think SJWs and Soy Boys put soy on their pizza and various toppings for diversity? They probably all like artichoke and feta cheese. I hate feta cheese. Ugh. I like Greek women, but I hate feta cheese. Solo is dead. Now he's in my basement. Don't forget he's going to be stumbling idiot, gets shaved by his daughter every time. Yeah, he'll be put in his place by the next generation of people. And then no one will come to defend Lando. No one will say, oh, Lando was belittled and made to look like a fool, and they're always keeping the black man down. No, the narrative will be how empowering Rey and Rose Tico are. And that scares me because they suck. David Hervey, thank you very much. Have you ever seen any of the Long Beach Griffey videos? I saw his Black Bond one and immediately thought of your channel. He also has videos mocking feminism. I have not. Let me take a screenshot of your super chat so I can check them out later. All right, taken. I don't know who that is, but I'm glad you thought of me when it comes to Black James Bond. I'll never buy into it because it explicitly has stated what the character looks like. I don't like it. I just don't like it at all. So, let's see. Frangedom88 loves Long Beach Griffey, so I'll have to check it out. Why just care for Lando? Oh, I'm not. I'm just trying to see how hypocritical that crowd of people really, truly are. Oh, we care about this and that. Do you? Or is this now ageism? It's just stupid. It's all stupid. It's not fun and games. It's not movies that people love. It's a culture war that's being fought. It's virtue signaling at its finest. I should do a fundraiser for another Star Wars parody comic later this year. Yeah, next year you mean. Yeah, I'm going to do more Indiegogo stuff, believe me. This first one was awesome, and I'm having a great time. I'm getting ready to, today, for those who backed us, you guys get an early bird certificate. You'll be getting that in the mail. Vistaprint has a special, so I'm going to order my things through Vistaprint today. I might even get like a gold holofoil or something. So if you're a backer of Stealing Solo, everyone gets this. I'm excited to make them, or to sell, not to sell them, to send them to you guys as a nice little gag. Because if you're and I don't mean to say it like a real fan. Let me rephrase it like this: if you're a long-term fan or an old school fan, and you've been there since the beginning, and you know that Christmas '77 there were no Star Wars toys, you knew about the early bird certificate, which was an empty box that Kenner sold you with the promise of a new set of Star Wars toys in the new year. Well, Stealing Solo will not be done until early next year, but I'm giving you the promise and a certificate that you will receive it. It's just a fun little nod. You know, you love parodies and you love Star Wars and all this stuff, and we're just taking some small joke things, small non-copyrightable things that are a throwback to that. So, Lando's humping my computer. So I'm glad that people backed the comic. Thank you to everybody. There's like literally thousands of people that backed the book. It's when we completed the campaign, it was my birthday. I had many a beers and I was having a good time. But I just took a moment to sit down and go, wow, this really worked. And it's crazy when I make stuff. And here's the craziest part. I'm drawing the comic. It's just me one-on-one with the comic. When I get the crates of these fucking books back, the thousands of books that I have to ship out individually, yeah, it's going to take a lot of time. But the part that's really blowing my mind is just I'll see the sheer numbers of people who listened, who backed it, who believed in it. You know, I look at a number on YouTube, and that's a number, and that's awesome. I'm not taking that away from anyone out there who watches, regularly like a lot of you do. But to see a physical representation of all the people, that was incredible. And I hope that more and more people continue to find our channel and to get involved in the community. I'm really excited. The Phantom Menace action figures, well, that's going to be a 2020 holiday exclusive. Maybe a 2019 holiday exclusive. I know somebody with a 3D printer. If I could... man, she does paint miniatures. If we could do an Indiegogo for that, we could find a way to cover all the costs and to hire her to paint them, and I could produce the packaging. Honestly, I know enough people where we could make mini figures of the High Council. If somebody out there is a digital sculptor, we could send you good, like, legit reference photos, not those photos that people take like off of Facebook or something and be like, oh, this is they look like. No, because it's funny. The only one that they get right is Jeremy, because he always scowls. But Ethan and I, you never get a decent photo out of us, because you're like, oh, there's a group of all the bullshitters in a van on their way to WrestleMania. That's close enough. Spider-Man, not Bugboy, says, don't block me, but Deckard is cooler than Solo. I wouldn't block you for that. You see, folks, we can have differing opinions. I don't expect everyone out there to say, oh, you're the best. Well, I do. But what you agree with is the best. What you think is the best is the best. I have what I like. I stand by it. I back it. You may like Trading Places or Coming to America or even Norbit over Beverly Hills Cop. But I will stay here every day and tell you Beverly Hills Cop is the best Eddie Murphy movie. It's one of the best movies of the 80s. It was more financially successful than Ghostbusters. And the music is second to none. And I'm talking the score. Well, maybe just Star Wars. But you can disagree all day long. I'd never block you. You like Blade Runner? Cool. I own Blade Runner on Blu-ray. Deckard's a fine character, but he's no Han Solo. He's no Indiana Jones. I think Indiana Jones is better than Han Solo at the end of it. Han Solo's kind of a bitch. He screams a lot. He cries. He gets beat up. Yeah! Who rescues Indiana Jones? Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones fights a tank. He fights a convoy of soldiers on a horse. He gets shot in the arm, dragged around, kicked in the dirt, almost blown up, almost has his head destroyed by God. Like, Indiana Jones is the ultimate movie badass. And people would say Schwarzenegger and this and that. How badass is a fucking robot that feels no pain? Not that badass. How badass is a dude that almost has his heart ripped out as he hangs from a drawbridge over a chasm full of alligators? That's badass. And he still wins, and he's smart. And he went to school, he's a doctor. Indiana Jones covers all of it. I think Indiana Jones is a much better character than Han Solo anyway. Justin Wirtz, thank you very much. Pineapple for the win. You, sir, earned a super chat. Well, thank you very much, Justin Wirtz. If we ever meet, let's have a slice of pineapple pizza together and discuss Star Wars. Jeff, you took the initiative to focus on drawing a comic. Jeff is proof that you shouldn't give up on your dreams. Thank you, Benobi. Yeah, I don't really talk about this a lot. I've talked about it in the past, but even if your family tells you your dreams are stupid, if you can make it happen, you can make it happen. Go ahead and make it happen. I know this sounds really shitty, but I'm ordering enough copies so next Christmas, when everyone sees the success that I've had, what did you do? Oh, well, I believed in my dream of being a comic book artist, as well as my YouTube channel that's, very, very massively successful. And I went out, and I have a group of people that believed in me more than you folks, and I made this dream a reality. And I'm going to give every person at Christmas next year a signed copy of Stealing Solo with a personalized thank you note. Just to rub it in their face, because I've heard for years what a waste this has been. And, it's none of their business how good it is now. That's not. They weren't there. The only person that ever really, truly always had my back was my mom. My friends, like Dion, yeah, they believe me, but they don't really know about the going-ons and the day-to-day process of it all. Mom's been there since day one, so that is why when we continue to hit it big and I move, I'll take her with me, because I would never leave her in this neighborhood. This is just a shit thing. Germany just declared war on him and his family personally. Oh, man. Yeah. About Indiana Jones. True story, Indy rescues himself. I never got into Solo either. I agree Indy's more badass. On a horse with a rock. Let's see. Is Disney buying Fox 2? They already bought it. It goes live January. He's a real doctor. Jack Ryan is no Indiana Jones, and regarding Henry is no Han Solo. Thoughts on Cinema Cucks? Cinema Cucks, like Cinema Sins? Don't watch them anymore either. They make some criticisms. They pick apart movies, and they actually make mistakes in picking them apart to try to be funny. And I just don't watch them. Like, if I'm going to rip apart Star Wars, I'm going to make sure I got my facts straight before I just rip into it. That's what I feel Cinema Sins should do more often. John Woodhouse, cool last name. How long do you think the culture war will last? Well, first off, John Woodhouse, thank you. Overall culture war, we got a while left in it, and I honestly feel like, I don't know how to. Where are the battle? I know where the battle lines are drawn, but I don't know what I would call, like, you can call them the common sense people or whatever. Like, if we call the other side just the SJW side, they will die out soon. A lot of these people are young and idealistic. Once they get into the real world, they understand how things work. They understand the compromises they have to make. They choose to have families. They get into relationships. You can over-progressive yourself to be lonely forever. Like, somebody made a great joke. I posted the Captain Marvel spoiler on Twitter, and they said, why does she only come with one cat? Meaning she's going to be a crazy cat lady, and I had a good chuckle about that. The culture war will last a while. With Star Wars, we're nearing the end of the Star Wars culture war experiment. It blew up in their face. They made their money with The Force Awakens on the back of Harrison Ford. Like I said, Mark Hamill wasn't a big enough star, so when they tried it with Mark Hamill and The Last Jedi, it did not work. Jyn Erso did not sell a movie. Darth Vader, the Death Star, X-Wings, TIE Fighters, and Stormtroopers sold Rogue One. Nostalgia sold that. They can the characters that they produce are weak and ineffectual. Male or female, they all suck. They have tried to make Star Wars this thing. They haven't tried it with Marvel, but now Marvel's moving in that direction. But it's too late for Marvel. Marvel's made all their money. Marvel's an established thing. If they try to make it that, they're going to alienate their audience, and I foresee a big downfall in all superhero films. So, not just Marvel, but DC. DC's already on the ropes. If Marvel crashes and burns, they're going to take them down with them. And we'll have comic book movies go the way of the Western. We'll have some, but we won't have one every month, like we currently do, it feels like. So, culture war's got a while left in it. I don't really see too much of the culture war in music. I don't see it. The video game, we're on the final third of it, I'd say. The video game stuff, they tried it with Gamergate. Fans rebelled. Every time they try to push this shit into a video game, it flops like Battlefield. People just will not put up with it. You're going to have Other companies come in, Japanese companies, they're going to re-release old games or going to produce content that people like, that appeals to male and female viewers, gamers, all that stuff. And they're going to push out. I foresee the culture war stuff really just putting an end to American entertainment viability in the marketplace. You know, I watched Lupin the Third yesterday, a Japanese cartoon. I played Donkey Kong last night, a Japanese video game. You know, people will go elsewhere for their entertainment. The ubiquity of the internet and the ease of access to digital content and videos and Blu-rays and all those things that can be delivered to you through Amazon, you know, the less culture warriors of content, you know, the better for the consumer. They'll just go consume shit that doesn't make them feel like a piece of shit. The great escapist entertainment will come back. Let's see. Cecil, did he get another comic book? I don't know. Cecil popped on when you popped on, or when you heard last night, and then I left after we went off the air because I had to get to bed. So I don't know if Cecil got another comic book. Plus, I didn't ask him because I didn't want to dredge up bad feelings. But I love Cecil. Cecil's awesome. It was fun last night because the High Council was like a Renaissance episode. You see, with Jeremy, we've hit a golden period. Like Jeremy, Ethan, and myself, we have great chemistry. It works. Cecil, Ethan, and I were, you know, the first wave, essentially. And I missed having Cecil on, so it was a lot of fun. At least Rogue One didn't totally screw up the OT like The Last Jedi did. Very true. Rogue One doesn't suck, but it's not as great as people say. It's the best Disney Star Wars film. Let's see. Jeff, we the various fandoms need to stop SJW like people of Minas Tirith defeated the bulk of Sauron's orc forces. If we don't stand, then they will take over everything. Yeah, I agree with that. It's not about attacking individuals or physically, you know, fighting them or anything like that. But these people come in and they just tear apart great fan communities and great fun. Like there are these, you know, culture war, I don't want to call them eco-terrorists or anything like that, but they just come in and they raze the place. They burn it down. They destroy it. You know, Star Wars was already in a fine place. It doesn't need to be promoted like that's the Women of Star Wars book. Okay, fine. But that Han Solo book's going to outsell the Women of Star Wars book. And if some big group buys 1,000 or 100,000 copies to distribute to like shelters or schools, I don't consider that book being a success because one person bought all those copies to promote an ideology. When everybody and their mom was reading John Grisham books in the 90s, I consider that a big success. Or James Patterson books today. When people organically buy a product, it's successful. When church groups and youth groups and community groups buy Black Panther tickets by the theater full, I don't consider that movie truly a success. It's trying to promote something, and it has the added benefit of one person with a lot of financial backing who wants to make a stance or make a statement with the product. Let's see. People liked the High Council last night. I had a great time. I liked talking as much as I did to Ethan. Like, you know, I've never met Ethan, unlike Jeremy has. I know we're going to do stuff at Star Wars Celebration, but that's the part I'm most excited for. Yes, to hang out with everyone, but to shoot the shit with Ethan and talk about crazy cool stuff. And, you know, just meet him. You know, I know what he looks like. He knows what I look like. But we've never met, so that's exciting. I won't have my Christmas beard by then, so that'll be different. By the way, I am growing a Christmas beard because I don't really feel like shaving, and I want to see how I look for about the next 20 days with a beard. So, I don't know. I like it. I saw you mention me on the High Council last night, Jeff. How's your morning been? Great day. I can't complain. Good Morning Pop Culture's audience numbers have gone up, as you can see all the time. So I'd like to thank everybody. It's been awesome. Pizza, beer, Star Wars is the perfect combo. Yeah. Dion and I have had many a pizza, beer, Star Wars days. Yeah, his kid's born, so he can't do it as much, but yeah, his kid's too cute to be angry at. Just stumbled across what JJ did to the Cartesians in Star Trek movies. Holy moly, that guy's got double standards. Are those the people at the beginning of Into Darkness? The people with the white paint on their bodies and the cool red backgrounds? I haven't watched that movie in quite a while. I kind of forgot. My kid got stacks of free Miss Marvel #1. Or my kid's school got stacks of free Miss Marvel #1. Huh. Well, don't tell anybody that, because it's the narrative that people are buying all these comic books. Like I told you guys, with the success of Stealing Scylla, we actually outperformed the Captain Marvel trade paperback in the month of August. So that was pretty impressive. Am I a Miller or a Budweiser guy? I will drink either beer. I do enjoy Miller Lite, though, for beer pong. That is my beer pong beer of choice, based strictly on nostalgia for college times with Dion. You know, we were broke college kids. We needed to drink as much as we could for as little as we could spend. And here's one dumb thing I will answer, Kung Fu. When I watch old 80s movies, like Beverly Hills Cop, the old Miller cans have come back in style, so I feel an odd connection to said movies, because I'm like, cool, they're back in style. Miller's the same. And I can enjoy the taste of a Miller Lite. What are your opinions on Once Upon a Deadpool? Is it worth seeing? Robert Whitaker, I tell everyone to make your own decisions, but I will not see Deadpool PG-13 cut, and I refuse to promote it or speak positively of it, because all this is an attempt for Disney to 3 things. Cut the legs out from Aquaman, cut the legs out from Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, and to test the waters for a PG-13 Deadpool. Because if this movie makes a lot of money, they will never make another R-rated film. There will not be a Deadpool 3. There will be Deadpool in the Marvel Universe, and it'll be kid-friendly, or it'll be Marvel Cinematic Universe-friendly. So if you like R-rated people, or if you like R-rated Deadpool, do not go see this movie, because you will send them the message that R-rated Deadpool is no longer wanted. We want PG-13 Deadpool. There's a Vanity Fair article discussing post-Avengers 4 diversity stories. Well, if you'd like to send that to me over Twitter, I can try to incorporate it into my next video. The twins that Kirk sleeps with in Into Darkness, they're originally cat race. They first showed up in the original series, or the animated series. Huh. I'll have to check it out. I mean, I own the movie. I own the entire Kelvin, I guess it's Kelvin Timeline Star Trek trilogy on Blu-ray, because I got it real cheap. Miller High Life for the win. I like Miller High Life. I drank that last New Year's, actually. I also like Costco beer. It's just called light beer. It's cheap, and it'll get you drunk. Well, it doesn't really get you drunk. It takes forever. I'd rather spend, $12 on a 6-pack of Rheingeist Truth. That'll definitely mess me up than try to spend, $24 on 48 beers that I just pee a lot. I don't like the idea of Once Upon a Deadpool. I think that if it's a success, they will make PG-13. Yeah, I do too. It'll be a PG-13 franchise moving forward. Let's see. Deadpool should be rated R. So is Deadpool dead? Possibly. And yes, he can die. Having Deadpool guest star in the PG-13 MCUs would work while having a solo film be rated R. That's a happy medium I could come to, but I don't expect that to be the case. It's all PG-13. Just like the Disney streaming service. Here's the best part, though. We talked about Marvel and Disney being too big to fail, and in theory they're not. Disney Plus comes out. It does fine numbers. Disney presents it to their stock holders. Yeah, X, Y, and Z. Once they say, well, we'll now have R-rated content and all these things, know that is an indicator that their shows, their streaming services, are not in a good place. Okay, you'll send it via email. Thanks. Hey, Jeff, is there a specific collection you have that you wish to expand on in regards to the P.O. Box? Do you mean like action figures or what? If you would elaborate a little more, Bonobi, because I collect like Amazing Spider-Man comics, but I have so many, and to make the list public would be kind of hard. And it's a crapshoot, because I do have a good chunk of them. Let's see. Anything that says Miami Vice, Back to the Future, Beverly Hills Cop is always awesome or welcomed. Anything you guys want to send. I do collect modern stuff. I just collect James Bond stuff, too. Waiting on my damn CD to show up. Jeff, when will there be another P.O. Box opening? I can't wait to see your reaction. Well, I'm going to go to the P.O. Box on Friday afternoon, and if I get enough stuff, I will make a video now. Or you guys, what we'll do is we'll put up a Twitter poll. We'll vote. You want it now? We'll put it up on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube here, and you guys can say where you'd like me to do it, on Christmas or then. We'll find out. Have I ever tried Guinness? I've had Guinness on tap, yeah. If that's what you're asking, if it comes from a keg, yeah, I've had Guinness before. I like Guinness. I'm pretty open to my beers. I will try almost anything. Batman 89, yeah. You want to send anything Batman 89 related? I would love anything Batman 89 related. I do own a Crime Attack Batman in the back, the package. So if you guys want to send a loose one of those, that'd be cool. But anything you guys want to send, I do love that movie a lot. So Batman 89 is cool. If you guys want to send Batman 89 shit in, everyone will get mentioned and it'll go into the collection in the archives. Let's see. Sony didn't have the balls to make Venom R-rated, so they turned it down to PG-13. Yeah, they did, and I didn't like it either. Huh. You'll send me a Kathleen Kennedy autograph. I would save it, actually. I wouldn't even throw it away. All right, thank you, Cesario Japan. You'll send me a Holdo action figure. I've always wanted to burn something on camera, so I guess it'll be my first. Well, folks, it is time for me to close out Good Morning Pop Culture. Yesterday was a long episode, but today I got a lot of stuff to do. Got to hit the gym, got to do stuff. Trying to find out if we're going to be able to record stuff tonight for Patreon. We got an interesting request. So if you're listening to this and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you guys do. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. You'll enjoy being a member of World Class Bullshitters community. I'll be back tomorrow with Good Morning Pop Culture. Should have my video out. And then we'll also have World Class Bullshitters episode 151, where we discuss all kinds of fun topics. So I know you're telling me to go have some fun. Sadly, I can't. I got to get to work. But then again, it's this, and it's always fun. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. And, oh, wait. So how was the drink that was sent to you in your P.O. box? Thoughts on it? Did you finish it already? I enjoyed it. The Yule Must was a delicious drink that my mom and I both enjoy. I've had multiple cans of it. One day I couldn't have coffee, so I had Yule Must. If they ever released it here in America, that brand, I'd buy it again. The one that came in the can was better than the one that came in the bottle, but I enjoyed it. So, guys, thank you very much, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.